Chapter 121. They are not my second brother's children. He will be very angry if he knows about it. Since things have come to this, it will be revealed sooner or later. I just want to know what happened between my sister and those two men. Su Zipei looked at Mr. Mu Xiao helplessly. It's my sister's fault for letting the Mu family down. Then, what do you want to know today, Miss Su? They used to go to the golf course or some other places, Su Zipei answered. All right. I will write down a name and an address for you. You can ask around. Mr. Mu Xiao was very willing to help Su Zipei. He quickly wrote down the place where they used to meet. Su Zipei got the address and thanked Mr. Mu Xiao. Thank you so much, Mr. Mu Xiao. You're welcome. Su Zipei left quickly after she got the address. But Mr. Mu Xiao noticed that she did not take the DNA report with her. She must have forgotten about it. So he asked his secretary to chase after her. But Su Zipei had already disappeared from Mu Group. So, Mr. Mu Xiao took out his phone and wanted to call Su Zipei. But he was very interested in the DNA report. So he took the report and said to his secretary, I need to go to Grandpa Mu's house. I will come back in the afternoon if there's anything. All right, CEO. Mr. Mu Xiao went to Grandpa Mu's house with the DNA report. He looked at Mu Tongxue carefully. Indeed, she did not look like his second brother. Uncle, where's your grandpa? In the study. Mu Tongxue said to Mr. Mu Xiao. Mr. Mu Xiao went to the study with the documents. When he saw Grandpa Mu arranging the documents, he passed the documents to him. Father, Su Zipei came to me today. She mentioned the eldest young master of the Shen family again. She even gave me this document. Grandpa Mu nodded. Grandpa Mu turned around and saw the report. Then he opened it. But after reading it, he could not say a word. His hands were trembling. So Mu Qiqi and Shui are not from the Mu family? They are from the Shen family? That's right. Grandpa Mu could not take it. He leaned on the edge of the desk and took a deep breath. What kind of sin is this? Are we raising someone else's daughter? Father, you know very well what happened to young Master Shen that year. Now that it has been proven that Qiqi and her sister are part of the Shen family, it can be considered as retribution. The old man's expression was sluggish as he sat down on the chair, unable to speak for a long time. One could imagine how complicated his feelings were. You can go out. Let me be alone. Mr. Mu Xiao nodded and left the DNA report. Then he turned around and left Grandpa Mu's house. He knew that although Mu Tongxue was just a little girl, she was very cunning. If she continued to stay by Grandpa Mu's side, she might be able to make Grandpa Mu happy one day. Then Papa Mu would be able to regain control of Mu Group. That was the only way to get rid of the problem. What he didn't know was that the old man had been sitting in the study all morning. After all, even if Mu Tongxue was not a member of the Mu family, the Mu family had already raised her. Why should she be returned to the Shen family? However, he felt like a fool if he continued to raise her. He knew that she was someone else's daughter, but he still wanted to keep her. So after much consideration, Grandpa Mu decided to let Papa Mu solve the problem. After all, Papa Mu was the father of the two sisters. It was up to his son to decide whether they should stay or leave. However, when he saw his son coming home drunk, he couldn't bring himself to do it, because he knew his son's temper very well. If he knew that Mu Tongxue was not his daughter, he might even beat him to death. So, he held himself back. However, because he held himself back, he did not know that Mu Tongxue had entered his study in the middle of the night and read the DNA report. Of course, she knew who Xin Jianchuan was, because his name was on her mommy's ring. But she did not expect that she and Mu Qiqi were part of the Shen family. She was eavesdropping at the door when Uncle Mu came to the house in the morning. Although she could not hear it clearly, she could get a general idea of what happened. Now that she saw the evidence, she finally understood what it meant to be put in a desperate situation. It was because she had checked the information about the Shen family on the internet. She knew that the Shen family was a prestigious family. They were much more powerful than the Mu family. If she was a Shen, shouldn't she go back to the Shen family? It was a great opportunity for her to make a comeback. Moreover, now that Grandpa knew that she was not a member of the Mu family, he would kick her out sooner or later. And her scumbag father would tear her apart sooner or later. If that was the case, She might as well make the first move. Mu Tongxue read the report and put it back. Then, she sneaked back to her room and started to plan secretly. She would bring the ring to the Shin family. As for the small mansion, Mu Qiqi and the others were discussing about the consequences of the incident that night. I believe there will be a good show soon. Since the Mu family kept your report, they must be looking for Grandpa Mu. Why would they look for Grandpa Mu instead of that scumbag Mu? Su Zipei asked. Sheng Xiao looked at Su Zipei with a deep gaze and explained. He won't get anything other than venting his anger if he goes to look for Mu Qiqi. He might even anger Mu Qiqi and set him on fire. But it will be different if he looks for Grandpa Mu. When he knows the truth, he will be even more annoyed with that scumbag Mu Tongxue. That stupid son can't even tell whether she is his daughter or not. Grandpa Mu has spoiled his granddaughter for so many years. Will Grandpa Mu still have the heart to let him return to Mu Group? No one is stupid. Mr. Mu Xiaoxiao should be able to think of this. Su Zipei nodded after listening to Sheng Xiao's explanation. She was convinced. Then, how will Grandpa Mu react? His reaction will be more complicated. He can't bear it, but he can't reveal it to the public. I'm afraid this incident will become a thorn in his heart. When Mu Tongxue knows that Grandpa Mu's attitude towards her has changed, do you think she will suspect something or look for an answer? It won't take long. She is good at eavesdropping and rummaging through things. Mu Qiqi interrupted and said to them, she has always been like this for so many years. I didn't wrong her. Su Zipei laughed and pinched Mu Qiqi's cheek. It's just that she always puts the blame on you. I heard that you were rummaging through the house a few times. So, Mu Qiqi smiled. Chapter 122. If that's the case, Mu Tongxue must be very impatient. Not only was Mu Tongxue impatient, but she was also very anxious. After all, she was just an 18-year-old girl. It was impossible for her to barge into the Shin family and shout that she was Shin Jianchuan's daughter. People would think that she was crazy, so she was eager to know what Mu Qiqi was going to do. But Mu Qiqi did not do anything. No, she could not just sit and wait. If she waited until Papa Mu knew that she went to the Shin family, she might not be able to walk out of the Mu family alive. So, after thinking about it, she decided to take the initiative. She stole the DNA report from the study in the middle of the night. Then she sneaked out of the Mu family with the report and the ring. Of course, she could find the Shin family. But the problem was that she could not get in. There were sentries guarding the Shin family. Mu Tongxue lingered outside the Shin family for a long time. She knew that the Shin family was a Pandora's box. But she still wanted to open it. At least, it could not be worse than her current situation. So she walked in front of the sentry and said, Uncle, I want to see the old grandpa of the Shin family. I have something very important to tell him. Can you help me pass the message? The sentries looked at her from head to toe. He saw that she was holding a bag and looked anxious. So he rejected her politely. Little girl, you should go back. The chief is not seeing anyone. But I really have something important to tell you. I beg you. If I don't see Grandpa Shen, I won't be able to live. Please help me. Mu Tongxue was good at acting. As long as she cried and knelt in front of the sentries would have to check her identity. Did you bring your ID card? It must be recorded. Yes, Mu Tongxue said quickly. Then wait here. At that moment, Grandpa Shen was already asleep. But when he heard the message, he sat up and put on his clothes. He did not expect that the girl would come to him so soon. Interesting. So he agreed to meet Mu Tongxue at night. Then he arranged for her to stay in the study. Mu Tongxue was apprehensive. She simply did not know what she was about to face. After that, Grandpa Shen entered the study. He looked at Mu Tongxue carefully. She did look like his granddaughter. But she was not as adorable as Mu Qiqi. Grandpa Shen looked at Mu Tongxue. What kind of joke was this? His own granddaughter was not like this snake in front of him, ungrateful and treacherous. Still, the old man did not react, and merely asked, Little girl, do we know each other since you're looking for me so late at night? Mu Tongxue burst into tears. She knelt down in front of Grandpa Shen. I'm sorry, Grandpa Shen. It's so late. I'm here because of this. Then, Mu Tongxue handed the ring and the DNA report to Grandpa Shen. The old man knew what it was, but he pretended not to know. He took it and looked at it carefully. The ring was secondary. The key was the DNA report. After reading it, Grandpa Shun was shocked. Don't tell me that you are Mu Qiqi? Mu Tongxue was stunned when she heard that. Then, she realized that Grandpa Shun was asking about Mu Qiqi. The Shun family had not been alerted yet. That was great. It would be good for her. Mu Qiqi is my sister. We are twins. My name is Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue explained to Grandpa Shun while sobbing. Child, get up. Grandpa Shun quickly said to Mu Tongxue. Don't kneel down. I did not expect that my son, Shun Jianchuan, could have 2 daughters in this world. Grandpa, please save me. Grandpa Mu will tell my father soon if he knows about this. You don't know that my father loves to abuse me and my sister. If he knows that I am not his daughter, he will not let me walk out of the Mu family alive. Mu Tongxue knelt on the ground and refused to get up. She was crying like a pear blossom in the rain. What about your sister? Grandpa, you don't know about this. My sister killed my grandmother, so my father chased her out of the Mu family. After that, she was sponsored by someone and lived with a man. She does not consider herself a member of the Mu family anymore. Come, get up. You are such a poor child. Grandpa Shun helped Mu Tongxue up and said to her, Child, I will arrange a small house for you to stay in. You don't need to go back to the Mu family. But I still need some time to make arrangements for the Shun family. So you have to stay in the small house first. But I will send someone to take care of you. Is that okay, child? Thank you, Grandpa. I have no home now. All right, I will make arrangements for you now. You can look for him if you need anything. After that, Grandpa Shun made a few calls and made the necessary arrangements. He planned to settle Mu Tongxue down first, and then put on a good show. Mu Tongxue did not doubt him at all. She did not know that she was like a transparent person in front of Grandpa Shun. She was still trying her best to put on a show. Grandpa Shun could not put up with it anymore. So he immediately asked someone to settle her down first. Then he would make other plans later. Mu Tongxue was very happy. She felt that Grandpa Shun would love her a lot when he saw his expression. And she even took the chance to slander Mu Qiqi just now. She said that Mu Qiqi was living with a man. Soon, the people who were supposed to protect Mu Tongxue arrived at the Shun family side house. They followed Grandpa Shun's order and took care of her. After Mu Tongxue left, Grandpa Shun called his good friend. That girl from the Mu family really came to put on a show. Then, how did you settle her down? Let her stay in a small house nearby first. Let her think that she is really a member of the Shun family. I want to see how many tricks she can play. Do you know Bowen? She really said that Mu Qiqi killed Grandma in front of me. She even said that my granddaughter is living with a man. Grandpa Shun's friend could tell that he was very angry. So he tried to persuade him. She is a greedy person. Just teach her a lesson. Why do you need to be angry? That girl from the Mu family always abuses Mu Qiqi. She has been the scapegoat for her many times. Then you must teach her a lesson. When the time comes, you can just use the grandest way to acknowledge Mu Qiqi, and not Mu Tongxue. Isn't that enough? Grandpa Shun felt a little better when he heard what his friend said. When the time comes, I will make this girl shed a layer of skin. Mu Tongxue was settled in the small house. She was very excited that night, because she had found someone to rely on again. As for the 2 people from the Mu family, she would go back and deal with them sooner or later. Chapter 123. The next day, Grandpa Shun called Sheng Xiao personally and asked for a meeting. It was because he had told Jing Yun that he wanted to meet Sheng Xiao. But Sheng Xiao did not meet Grandpa Shun immediately, because he wanted to show that he was not close to Mu Qiqi. Now that Grandpa Shun had called him, he would not delay. So he went straight to the Shun family from Huangyao. That morning, Grandpa Shun did not go fishing or do some gardening. He was waiting for Sheng Xiao in the study. When Grandpa Shun saw Sheng Xiao entering the study, he could not help but sigh in his heart. There were so many brothers and sisters in the Sheng family. But Sheng Xiao was the only one he liked the most. This kid was brave and smart. He was 1,000,000 times better than those rich young masters outside. Uncle Shun, why did you call me here in such a hurry? Sheng Xiao, I have checked the information Jing Yun sent to me. Mu Qiqi is indeed my granddaughter. You are the one who saved my granddaughter. Not really, Sheng Xiao smiled. Because she saved my life too. Actually, I called you here today because I want to bring Mu Qiqi back to the Shin family. You know, I love Jianchuan the most among my sons. But Jianchuan is not lucky. He has been in a vegetative state for so many years. I did not expect him to have a daughter. Grandpa Shen looked at Sheng Xiao and sighed. So, do you know how surprised I was when I saw the DNA test report? Uncle Shen, forgive me for being straightforward. Mu Qiqi might not want to go back to the Shin family. You know, she has suffered a lot in the Mu family. She does not have any expectations for her family. Although the Shen family is not like the Mu family, they are a complicated family. Moreover, Brother Shen has a fiancée. Can she accept Mu Qiqi's existence? Sheng Xiao took the opportunity to ask Grandpa Shen the most important question. What kind of joke was that? Mu Qiqi was his precious daughter. Even if he wanted to send her back to the Shen family, he must fight for the best for Mu Qiqi and tell Grandpa Shen about the biggest threat. Grandpa Shen nodded. I know what you are talking about. I will do my best to make sure that Mu Qiqi has a good life. She is my granddaughter. Of course, I will love her very much. But I don't have the final say in this matter. Qiqi has to make the decision herself. Moreover, although I have such a deep relationship with her, I can't control her life. So, you still have to look for Jing Yun and Qiqi. Sheng Xiao deliberately threw the problem to Grandpa Shen. How could it be so easy to bring his granddaughter back home? Of course. We have to think about it first. I have to think about it. Everything must be well. Uncle Shen, you might not know this, but when I met that girl, she was chased out of the Mu family and was sold to a hotel by her uncle. If it wasn't for me, your granddaughter would have been ruined beyond recognition by now. Not only that, she even swapped the exam papers. She almost ruined Mu Qiqi's life. Do you think she would forgive her sister? Sheng Xiao crossed his arms and asked Grandpa Shen in return. Grandpa Shen, you're right. After hearing this, Grandpa Shen knew what to do. Don't worry. I will give my granddaughter an explanation. Then let's wait and see. You brat, you're even more arrogant than me. But I really have to thank you for what Qiqi did. Grandpa Shen pointed at Sheng Xiao and smiled. When I get my granddaughter back, I'll give you a first-class merit. I can have anything I want. Sheng Xiao took the opportunity to set Grandpa Shen up. Of course, a gentleman's word. Uncle Shen, don't regret it when the time comes. Sheng Xiao's words were full of deep meaning, but Grandpa Shen could not understand it yet. Of course, things were much easier now that they had reached a consensus on how to deal with Mu Tangxue. By the way, I hope Uncle Shen can have a good time with Mu Tangxue. That girl is scheming. She would definitely show off in front of the Mu family when she finds out that she has become the daughter of the Shen family. You don't have to interfere, Uncle Shen. I have my own arrangements. If you want to know the truth behind Brother Shen's vegetative state, just cooperate with Mu Tangxue. Grandpa Shen was stunned when he heard what Sheng Xiao said. My son's vegetative state has something to do with the Mu family? But they are twins with different fathers. Don't you want to know how it happened, Uncle Shen? Although Grandpa Shen was old, he was experienced and knowledgeable. He only needed to call the doctor to find out. It was Su Ziqing. She had slept with 2 men one after another. That was why she could be pregnant with 2 men's child. As for whether the 3 men were together or one after the other, he could only find out through investigation. And Mu Tangxue was the best pawn to be used. Sheng Xiao, if you can even find out about this, it would not be too much for me to give you my life. Remember what you said today, Uncle Shen. Then, Sheng Xiao turned and said to Grandpa Shen coolly, I'm going back to Huangyao. Call Jing Yun if there's anything. He will help you. In fact, Grandpa Shen really wanted to see how Mu Qiqi, his granddaughter, was doing. Of course, he also learned that Mu Qiqi had entered Shengting University and chose to study forensic science. Why wasn't this little girl afraid? But she was more like the Shen family. She was bold. Moreover, with Mu Qiqi's major, she could go anywhere she wanted in the future. It was cool to be a forensic doctor. Grandpa Shen was relieved when he thought of that. After leaving Shen Mansion, Sheng Xiao called Mu Qiqi. I'm afraid your grandfather will want to see you very much. Keep an eye on him. He is a righteous old man. Xiao Xiao, did Mu Tangxue go to Shen Mansion? What do you think? Sheng Xiao asked. Little one, if that's the case, you can sleep in the mansion these few days. No, I want to sleep with you, Mu Qiqi blurted out, completely unaware of what she had just said. Sheng Xiao chuckled lowly when he heard that, and Mu Qiqi blushed too. I mean, I'm not used to not having you now. I know you want to sleep with me, Sheng Xiao said calmly. I'll pick you up tonight. You can sleep with me. Mu Qiqi felt warm inside. She nodded quickly. Okay. On the other hand, the Mu family had not realized that Mu Tongxue was not at home. Papa Mu had fallen asleep after drinking. He did not care about his daughter at all. Grandpa Shun, on the other hand, was busy playing golf with his friends. So no one noticed that Mu Tongshue's room was empty. Anyway, she knew to wake up for breakfast when she was hungry. Chapter 124. She was the young lady of the Shun family now. Her status and identity were not the same anymore. She really had to thank Suzy Pei for telling her uncle the good news. No, Mr. Mu Xiao was not her uncle anymore. Because she was a member of the Shun family. Mu Tongxue became more prideful and confident when she thought of that. Since Grandpa Shun had arranged for Mu Tongxue to stay in the small house, he would naturally visit her in the house, so that Mu Tongxue would not be suspicious. Mu Tongxue was overjoyed when she saw Grandpa Shun. She rushed to him from the door and held his arm affectionately. Grandpa, she called out crisply. Only Mu Tongxue herself knew how much hope she had in her heart. Grandpa Shun remained calm and stroked Mu Tongshue's head. Are you used to living here? I'm used to it. Thank you, Grandpa. It's just that Grandpa Mu is going to look for me. But I don't dare to go back. Mu Tongxue pulled Grandpa Shun's sleeve and said, I will be beaten to death if I go back. Then, you should stay here and wait for me to talk to the Mu family. Grandpa Shun smiled and replied, After all, I still have some old things that I want to ask your father in the Mu family. What is it? I heard that Jianchuan might have something to do with him when he became a vegetable. Grandpa Shun purposely mentioned it in front of Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue was stunned when she heard that. Then she said to Grandpa Shun, Grandpa, how can you get an answer if you ask him like this? Although I am a member of the Shun family, I still want to say goodbye to Grandpa Mu. Although Dad is fierce to me, Grandpa Mu is very nice to me. Most importantly, Grandpa Mu knows who I am now. If that's the case, I will talk about Jianchuan another day. You should go back and say goodbye to him. I will send someone to send you there. I will send a few more people to ensure your safety, Grandpa Shun said to Mu Tongxue. It was not the Shun family's style. If it was a normal family, the Shun family would have apologized to them. But Grandpa Shun did not care about the Mu family at all. Let's not talk about whether Papa Mu had anything to do with his eldest son turning into a vegetable. He knew very well that the entire Mu family harbored evil intentions. Otherwise, his own granddaughter would not have suffered for so many years in the Mu family. Moreover, Mu Qiqi had left the Mu family a long time ago. Even if he announced that Mu Qiqi was a member of the Shun family, it would have nothing to do with the Mu family. But now Mu Tongxue, the drama queen, was in the middle. Of course, Grandpa Mu's suggestion was perfect for Mu Tongxue. Not only could she show off in front of the Mu family, but she also wouldn't have to suffer their torment. Thank you, Grandpa. Mu Tongshue's eyes were filled with joy. Grandpa Shun felt that he was already old, but he still could not catch up to this little girl's scheming. This girl was really chilling. What about my sister? Is she willing to go home? I haven't gone to see your sister yet, Grandpa Shun said honestly. Big sister has a stubborn temper. Grandpa, if big sister says something unpleasant, please don't be angry with her. Mu Tongxue reminded Grandpa Shun thoughtfully. Moreover, I know that you hate me very much, but I have changed for the better. All right, Grandpa understands your intentions. Grandpa Shun did not stay in the small house for long. He was afraid that he would lose control of his temper sooner or later. But since he had promised Mu Tongxue that he would send bodyguards for her, he would definitely do it. So when he returned to the Shun family, he assigned 4 bodyguards to protect Mu Tongxue, all the way back to the Mu family. Of course, Grandpa Shun had a clear instruction for the bodyguards. When they arrived at the Mu family, they must know what Mu Tongxue and the rest of the Mu family were talking about. Mu Tongxue had already returned to the Shen family. But Mu Qiqi was very calm. No one could tell what she was thinking. She was only focused on preparing for the university. She did not seem to care about the Shen family at all. Su Zipei noticed that Mu Tongxue did not mention anything about the Shen family. So she asked her, "What do you think about the Shen family?" Mu Tongxue is very enthusiastic. "That's Mu Tongxue. She will go wherever there is something good." Mu Qiqi answered Su Zipei casually while looking at the forensic report. "Don't you want to have a stronger backer? Don't talk about me. Aunt, what about you and Uncle Lu? It's not up to you to worry about adults." Su Zipei glared at her. "Aunt, all I want now is to see the Mu family kill each other. I don't have any expectations for the Shen family. Let nature take its course." Mu Qiqi answered Su Zipei seriously. "Because there is a saying that the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment." "Then, do you want to see the drama of the Mu family?" "Of course. But is there a drama now?" Mu Qiqi retorted. "Young Master Shen called me just now. He said that Grandpa Shen will send Mu Tongxue back to the Mu family. Do you think it won't be interesting?" Mu Qiqi looked at Su Zipei. Her eyes were full of curiosity and interest. "Then what are you waiting for? Let's go." Mu Tongxue knew that she was the young lady of the Shen family. She would definitely have a showdown with Papa Mu. How could she miss such an exciting moment? But why didn't Xiao Xiao call her when there was such an interesting thing? Soon, Mu Tongxue arrived at Grandpa Mu's villa in a luxury car. She had already put on the airs of a young lady of the Shen family. She entered the Mu family with 4 bodyguards. Grandpa Mu was not there. But Papa Mu was at home. He had just woken up from his drunken stupor. He did not look too good. But he sobered up when he saw Mu Tongxue. "You shameless thing. Where did you go? Why did you come back so late?" Papa Mu wanted to approach Mu Tongxue, but he was stopped by the 4 bodyguards. Papa Mu was stunned. Then he pointed at the bodyguards and asked, "Who are they? Where did you find them?" "Mr. Mu, please behave yourself. Don't touch our young lady. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude." Papa Mu laughed after listening to the bodyguard's explanation. He scolded him. "What does it have to do with you? I'm educating my daughter." "I'm sorry, Mr. Mu. You might not know that Miss Mu is the daughter of the Shen family." Papa Mu laughed after listening to the bodyguard. "Mu Tongxue, what are you playing at? Where are you going to find a few men to act with you?" Chapter 125. Are you out of your mind? Papa Mu was a little angry. What Shen family? Which Shen family? Papa Mu finally understood, after she mentioned the Shen family. He widened his eyes and stared at Mu Tongxue. "That's impossible. You'll know after you read this." Mu Tongxue took out the DNA report from her backpack and threw it in front of Papa Mu. "Mu Qiqi and I are not your daughters. We are Shen Jianchuan's Uncle Mu." Papa Mu was stunned for a moment. He grabbed the report and read it. He sat down on the sofa behind him when he saw the result. "That bitch. What right do you have to scold Mommy? You're the one who killed Mommy." Mu Tongxue shouted at Papa Mu. "You were the one who locked my room during the fire. That's why Mommy couldn't be saved. You're the one who killed Mommy." Papa Mu heard Mu Tongshua's words and saw the bodyguard beside her. That little bitch had clearly found a new backer. That was why she dared to provoke him so openly. So Papa Mu calmed down and sneered at Mu Tongxue. "You found a new family, and now you're back. Why don't you think about who raised you? Even though you raised me and my sister, you're always abusing us. You don't have the slightest bit of familial love." Papa Mu sneered at Mu Tongshue's accusation. "Mu Qiqi can say that in front of me, but you don't have the right to say that I'm not the one who loved you the most since you were young. Are you trying to act pitiful in front of the Shen family? Unfortunately, everyone knows that Mu Qiqi is the only one who was beaten by me the most out of the 2 daughters of the Mu family. Including when I chased her out of the Mu family. It's all because of you. You fed your grandma the wrong medicine, and you framed your sister. Do you think that you can deceive your grandfather for the rest of his life?" The reason why Papa Mu wanted to tell them about it was because he saw Grandpa Mu at the entrance of his house. "I told you it's not me. I also told you that your grandma doesn't like Mu Qiqi. She would never let Mu Chichi feed her the medicine, Papa Mu said loudly. Mu Tongxue looked helpless. Whatever you say. Yes, you don't care anymore. You are the daughter of the Shen family, so what? What are you showing off to the Mujia? Why don't you scram back to your Shen family to acknowledge your ancestors? What are you showing off in front of us for? Are you here to remind me that I've been cuckolded for so many years? At that moment, Grandpa Mu walked past the bodyguards and stood in front of Mu Tongxue. He sighed and said, So that's how it is, Dad. Shut up, Grandpa Mu said sternly. Then, he turned around and gave Mu Tongxue a tight slap. The bodyguards wanted to step forward, but it was too late to stop them. Mu Tongxue clutched her cheek and quickly took a few steps back. Did you kill your grandmother? Mu Tongxue shook her head. It's its sister. How dare you deny it? Grandpa Mu's eyes were red. He shouted at Mu Tongxue. If second brother didn't remind me, I wouldn't have remembered it. Your grandmother doesn't like Mu Chichi the most. She never eats anything from Mu Chichi. So it's you. It's you, the princess of the Mu family since young. I'm not denying it. It's my sister who did it. It would be strange if Mu Tongxue admitted it. After all, there were people from the Shen family behind her. Grandpa Mu understood when he saw Mu Tongxue's reaction. You went to the Shen family to acknowledge your family, right? Mu Chichi didn't do anything. You're really fast. Dad, you knew it all along. Speaking of which, I haven't asked you. Don't you know whether our daughter is yours or not? Don't you know whether that woman is pregnant with your child? Papa Mu was silent. It was because he really wanted Su Ziqing at that time. Su Ziqing heard that Shen Jianchuan was getting engaged that night. So, she left Shen Jianchuan's house and went to the bar to drink. When he arrived at the bar, he found Su Ziqing drunk. So he couldn't control himself and slept with Su Ziqing. All these years, he was sure that Su Ziqing and Shen Jianchuan never contacted each other. So, when Su Ziqing told him that she was pregnant with his child, he did not think much about it. It was because Shen Jianchuan got engaged not long after he married Su Ziqing. Then he became a vegetable. Thinking about it, Su Ziqing must have been with Shen Jianchuan before she found out that he was getting engaged. She must have been with him in the first half of the night. And he had been a fool for so many years. It was disgusting to think about it. How could he raise that bastard's child for so many years? That bitch Su Ziqing told me that it was her first time. I was drunk at that time. So I didn't think much about it. You believed everything she said. Papa Mu was disgraced when he got Su Ziqing that night. Su Ziqing was very sad after that. She almost wanted to kill herself. So, how could he bring it up again and make Su Ziqing feel that he was taking advantage of her? Moreover, after his daughters were born, there was no sign of the Shen family. So, how could he suspect it? In fact, Su Ziqing was drunk at that time. She thought that he was Shen Jianchuan. She did sleep with Shen Jianchuan before she went to the bar. Then, she found out that Shen Jianchuan was getting engaged. So, she went to the bar and called the wrong number. More terrifyingly, she did not distinguish between Papa Mu and Shen Jianchuan. So she told Papa Mu that he was her first man. She did not know that the man who came to look for her was Papa Mu and not Shen Jianchuan. She only realized her mistake when she woke up the next day. But the mistake was made. Not long after that, she got pregnant. But she did not know whose child it was. Shen Jianchuan was getting engaged. So she told Papa Mu everything and got married. You're such a sucker. You've done too well. Look at you now. You have 2 daughters. One of them was chased out by you, and the other one is standing here. She does not respect you at all. Look at yourself. Who do you think you are? Grandpa Mu asked Papa Mu angrily. Papa Mu did not answer. He kept quiet. Grandpa Mu turned around and faced Mu Tongxue again. And you, do you think that you can become the daughter of the Shen family just because you got involved with the Shen family? Don't you have to be responsible for your grandma's death and your mommy's death? You and that unfilial son. Both of you are worse than animals. I want to call the police. The old man was so angry that he yelled out the resentment in his heart. I want the police to investigate this matter and seek justice for my wife. Chapter 126. Grandpa, don't talk nonsense without evidence. Mu Tongxue looked at Grandpa Mu and tried to persuade him. Actually, I came here today to say goodbye to you. After all, the Mu family has raised me for so many years. Even if I don't get credit for it, I will still remember your kindness when I go to the Shun family. Remember our kindness? I don't think that's necessary. Do you really think that you can go to the Shun family and enjoy your life after all that has happened? I don't know what kind of person you are in the Shun family, but I don't mind telling them stories. Grandpa Mu did not want to let Mu Tongxue take advantage of him. What? She had been raised by the Mu family for so many years. She had caused so many troubles in the Mu family. Now, she wanted to leave just like that because of her son's family? Grandpa, I don't belong to the Mu family. I belong to the Shun family. Why are you forcing me? I will go back to the Shun family sooner or later. Humph. Grandpa Mu snorted coldly. He stomped on the ground with his walking stick. It's not impossible for you to go back to the Shun family, but you have to figure out what happened to your grandmother. I don't think it's possible. Mu Tongxue pretended to be helpless. I can't do anything if you don't believe me. Still, there was a hint of arrogance in Mu Tongxue's tone, as if no one could do anything to her. As for Mommy, I will tell the police what I know so that they can investigate it. You still have the cheek to say that you planned everything. Papa Mu pointed at Mu Tongxue and shouted angrily. How can you accuse me now? I planned it? I was asleep that day. I don't know how the fire started, and I wanted to go out to save Mommy, but my door was locked. Are you saying that I planned it? Uncle Mu, who would believe you? Papa Mu wanted to grab Mu Tongxue, but he was stopped by the Shin family's bodyguards. Mr. Mu, please behave yourself. How can the Shin family tolerate such a vicious woman? Papa Mu retorted angrily. We are only responsible for Miss Mu's safety. We don't care about anything else. With the protection of these 4 people, Mu Tongxue naturally could ignore the Mu father and son. That was why her expression became even more arrogant. Although Papa Mu was furious, he could not do anything to Mu Tongxue. Oh yes, Mommy also told me that you must have something to do with the eldest young master of the Shun family. Mu Tongxue hid behind a few bodyguards and did not have to worry about being attacked at all. It felt so good. She had never acted so haughtily in front of these 2 people before. In the past, she had always been submissive and fawning over them. But now, she could finally ignore their expressions. Papa Mu was shocked when he heard what Mu Tongxue said. He was even angered. Do you believe that I'll tear your mouth off if you keep talking nonsense? You can't. Mu Tongxue had been obedient to that scum for more than a decade. Because of Papa Mu's attitude, Mu Tongxue was even more certain that he had something to do with what happened to Shin Jianchuan. If you really have something to do with this, the Shun family will not let you go. And now, I'm going to the Shun family. I'm no longer the daughter of the Mu family. I don't want to have anything to do with the Mu family anymore. Then, Mu Tongxue turned around and was about to leave. But Grandpa Mu stopped her. Schwer, huh? You will regret today. I won't. Then, Mu Tongxue left the Mu family with her head held high. She left the Mu family that she hated. From now on, she would be the young lady of the Shun family. She would not live such a humble life anymore. Grandpa Mu took a few steps back when he saw Mu Tongxue leaving. He kept hitting his chest. I'm so blind. I'm so blind. All Papa Mu wanted to do now was to keep his secret. He could not let Mu Tongxue expose what he had done. So Papa Mu did something crazy. He went forward and strangled Grandpa Mu's neck. He said, Father, give me your gold card. What did you say? If that bitch really reports me, I can only hide first. So I need money, Papa Mu said with bloodshot eyes. Give me money. Are you crazy? Grandpa Mu shouted. I am crazy. I've been crazy for a long time, Papa Mu shouted back. He tightened his grip. Tell me, where is the card? Grandpa Mu had no choice. He never expected that his son would treat him like that. After that, Papa Mu left the Mu family as he had achieved his goal. Grandpa Mu was thrown on the floor. He was in a mess. So, when Mu Chi-Chi and Su Zipei arrived at the Mu family, the door was open. When they entered the living room, they saw Grandpa Mu sitting on the floor. He was an old man. but he was crying so pitifully. When he saw Mu Chi-Chi, Grandpa Mu immediately reached out to her. Chi-Chi, Chi-Chi, I've wronged you. I've wronged you. Mu Chi-Chi's eyes turned red. She walked to him and helped Grandpa Mu up from the floor with Suzy Pei. Are you alright? Do you need to go to the hospital? Grandpa Mu looked at Mu Chi-Chi guiltily. His tears were still on his face. At that moment, Grandpa Mu was not as arrogant as he used to be. He was not scheming anymore. He only regretted that he had trusted the wrong person. Chi-Chi, Grandpa, your grandmother's death has nothing to do with you. It's all Mu Tongshua's fault. I've never figured it out. I've wronged you. Grandpa Mu was crying sadly. At that moment he looked like a child. Mu Chi-Chi finally got her innocence. And she also got an apology from the person involved. She suddenly felt relieved. After all, although Grandpa Mu did not treat her well in the past, he did not treat her as badly as Papa Mu did. After that, he misunderstood her and caused his wife's death. I'm lying if I say that I don't blame you, Mu Chi-Chi said to Grandpa Mu seriously. Yes, Grandpa Mu smiled bitterly. That's why I've trusted the wrong person. I deserve this. Grandpa, you don't have to be so sad. You still have third uncle and youngest uncle. You're old now. Don't torture yourself like this. Chi-Chi, do you hate me? Faced with such a question, Mu Chi-Chi looked into Grandpa Mu's eyes and answered seriously. I did. I hated you for not believing me. But I don't hate you the most. Because I know that every debt has its debtor. I understand, but that bastard has taken away all my savings. Old Man Mu said through clenched teeth. Chapter 127. Grandpa Mu nodded. He immediately called his youngest son and asked him to inform the bank to freeze all his assets. Then, Mu Chi-Chi said to Grandpa Mu, if that's the case, you should stay at youngest uncle's place. It's safer that way. Grandpa Mu was emotional after hearing what Mu Chi-Chi said. Tears welled up in his eyes. You're the only one who wouldn't hit me when I'm down. There was no need to hit him when he was down. After all, Grandpa Mu was not the one who did the worst. The one who ran away and left was the one who did the worst. Now that Grandpa Mu had come to his senses and cleared her name, she could be considered to be even with Grandpa Mu. Moreover, the Mu family was not bankrupt. She could not hit him when he was down. If I knew this, I would have treated them equally. Suzy Pei could not help but speak up for Mu Chi-Chi. Grandpa Mu nodded. He looked even more guilty. Chi-Chi Zipei, can you send me to Mu Group? Sure. Actually, Mu Chi-Chi wanted to say goodbye to Grandpa Mu today. She would have nothing to do with the Mu family after the incident was spread. Since she had seen Grandpa Mu in such a miserable state, she might as well help him one last time. So they sent Grandpa Mu to Mu Group. Mr. Mu Xiao was furious when he knew what happened to Grandpa Mu. I never thought that Mu Tongxue is such an ingrate. Dad, what kind of people have you doted on all these years? I don't want to listen to you now. I just want you to tell me two things. First, your mother's death was caused by Mu Tongxue. It has nothing to do with Mu Chi-Chi. Don't let the public misunderstand Mu Chi-Chi. Second, inform all the employees in Mu Group to pay attention to second brother's whereabouts. Call the police as soon as you get any news. Also, I don't want to hear anything about Mu Tongxue from now on. Mr. Mu Xiao nodded. I understand. I'll do it now. I'll ask Xiao Yin to help you pack your luggage. You can move here now. Papa Mu nodded. He had finally calmed down from his agitation. In the end, he did not lose everything. He still had others by his side. This was a blessing in misfortune. After a while, he turned around and looked at Mu Chi-Chi and Suzy Pei. He said to Mu Chi-Chi, I know that you are a member of the Shin family now. You have nothing to do with the Mu family. Grandfather never loved you and treated you badly. I just hope that you will not hold a grudge against grandfather when you return to the Shin family. Grandpa let you down. Don't worry. Mu Tongxue will get her retribution soon. Mu Chi-Chi said to Grandpa Mu. I hope so. If the heavens have eyes, I only hope that she dies without a burial. It was clear how much the old man hated Mu Tongxue for saying such vicious words. The person he loved so much was now the one who hurt him the most. No one would be able to accept this. Father, you should go back and rest. I'll send Mu Chichi home. Grandpa Mu nodded and went to Mu Group's office. Mr. Mu Xiao said to Mu Chichi, whether you are a member of the Shen family or not, the door of the Mu family will always be open for you. I acknowledge you as my niece. If the Shen family treats you badly, you can come back. Take good care of Grandpa Mu. You don't have to worry about me now. In the end, not everyone in the Mu family was vicious. Although Mr. Mu Xiao was a greedy person, he still had a conscience. Mu Chichi was filled with mixed feelings after watching the scene today. So she looked solemn when she went home. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking about what Mu Tongshua's heart is made of. Mu Chichi sighed. Grandpa and Grandma used to treat her so well. I never expected that she could bully Grandpa Mu to this extent after she became rich. It's not the first time you know how despicable she is. Why are you so bothered? Suzy Pei smiled. But it's the best outcome for us now. Grandpa Mu has cleared your name. And that scumbag Mu is now in hiding. He and Mu Tongxue still have a fight to settle. Mu Tongxue smiled. Of course, I'm looking forward to the day when Mu Tongxue returns to the Shen family. Now that she treats Grandpa Mu like this, I'm afraid she can only look at the Mu family from afar. Isn't she asking for it? Mu Chichi smiled. Suzy Pei was looking forward to it even more when she thought about it. But now, she would let Mu Tongxue be happy for a few days. Let's go home. I'll cook for you tonight. Suzy Pei was in a good mood. Auntie Pei, teach me how to cook. Otherwise, Xiao Xiao and I will have nothing to eat when you are with Uncle Lu. Your hand is about to hold a scalpel. Do you think young Master Sheng will have the appetite to eat the food you cook? Just rest. He won't be able to bear it. Mu Chichi smiled and stopped struggling. She knew that her aunt was telling the truth. Xiao Xiao would hate it so much. On the other hand, Mu Tongxue felt that she had vented her anger. She was in a good mood when she returned to the small house. She would never expect that her bodyguard would go to the Shen family's mansion to report to Grandpa Shen after he sent her back to the small house. Grandpa Shen shook his head and sighed after he heard the bodyguard's description. If my granddaughter dares to treat me like this, I'll shoot her. Everyone will have a hard time. I felt guilty about it. But now that I think about it, I'm just helping the Mu family to clean up the mess. That's right. Old General, you were not there. If you were, you would be shocked by Mu Tongshue's cruelty. I've never seen an 18-year-old girl with such a vicious heart. The bodyguard agreed. Although the Mu family is despicable, I feel sorry for them. Moreover, I just got another message from the Mu family. Grandpa Mu has informed all the staff of Mu Group that Miss Mu Chichi is innocent. She did not kill Grandma. Of course. How could the Shen family do such a thing? Grandpa Shen snorted. The Mu family is smart enough to prove my granddaughter's innocence. Otherwise, I would have made them suffer. Should we continue to investigate young Master Sheng's case? Of course. Find out all the people related to him. I want to know how the scum of the Mu family schemed against my son. Grandpa Shen ordered. As for Mu Tongxue, she could be happy for a few days. Chapter 128. Late at night, Sheng Xiao brought Mu Chichi back to their new home. Since Grandpa Shen would investigate, they met a little later than usual. But before Sheng Xiao arrived at the little mansion, Mu Chichi had been thinking about something. She was still thinking about it even after they got into Sheng Xiao's car. Sheng Xiao used to be such a flamboyant person, driving all kinds of limited edition sports cars wherever he went. He did whatever he wanted and was free. Even the Sheng family often did not know where he was. That was the height of his status as the crown prince of Huangyao. But ever since they got together, Sheng Xiao would see her almost every day. He would drive an inconspicuous car. And even when he went out on a date, he would always think of avoiding people he knew. He would worry about all kinds of trivial things for her every day. The contrast was so great. How did he manage to live two completely different lives? Xiao Xiao, I don't think I see you socializing. Sheng Xiao tilted his head to look at her, and then turned his attention to the front. Do you want me to socialize? I'm just concerned about how you don't socialize. I can do it if I want to. Sheng Xiao's eyes were deep, hiding a deeper meaning that Mu Chichi could not understand. It was because he had been normal to Mu Chi-Chi from the start. That was why Mu Chi-Chi had never seen his demon side, and no one else had seen the gentleness he showed to Mu Chi-Chi. Don't you know that your brother is a two-faced person? With that, Sheng Xiao sped up the car. When they reached home, Sheng Xiao put Mu Chi-Chi on the dining table and quickly lifted her chin to kiss her. After the passionate kiss, Mu Chi-Chi's face was flushed, but Sheng Xiao smiled and looked down at her. Sometimes, even I don't know why I should give up my harem, which could have been very crowded, for a little thing like you, he said. And it's fine if I'm your boyfriend, but sometimes I'm your father, sometimes I'm your brother, and sometimes I'm your teacher. Don't you think you're earning too much? Capable people do more work. Mu Chi-Chi instantly wrapped her arms around Sheng Xiao's waist and acted coquettishly. That was when Sheng Xiao laughed out loud. That's right. That's what you said. Man. More. Work. Don't regret it. With that, he picked up Mu Chi-Chi's round figure and led her to the bedroom step by step. No matter how beautiful the women outside were, they weren't the ones who could tug at his heartstrings. Therefore, he would feel annoyed if he spoke another word to them. As for the little thing in his arms, he just wanted to watch and love her. It was his thing, so he had to cherish it. Of course, in some matters he would not be so gentle. For example, right now, after a round in the bathroom, they returned to the bedroom. When Mu Chi-Chi begged for mercy, Sheng Xiao held her in his arms and let their sweat drip down their bodies. Did you go to the Mujia today? I can't hide anything from you. I wanted to go and watch the show, but it was too late when I got there. Grandpa had already admitted his mistake and cleared my name. As a man with a heart, it's not strange for him to admit his mistake. Having said that, Sheng Xiao carried Mu Chi-Chi to the bathroom to clean up before returning to the big bed. As for that man, he is afraid that Mu Tongxue will do something to him, so he is hiding now. He is penniless and probably won't last long. Don't worry. The Shen family knows what Mu Tongxue has done. Even if you miss this show, you won't miss the next one. Then, Sheng Xiao patted Mu Chi-Chi's head. Sleep. Lying in Sheng Xiao's arms, Mu Chi-Chi felt very peaceful. So she fell asleep quickly. Meanwhile, Sheng Xiao looked at Mu Chi-Chi as she fell asleep. His long fingers caressed her face. He didn't know why, but he wanted to love this little thing with all his might. The next day, Mu Tongxue called Grandpa Shen early in the morning. She received a threat from Papa Mu. It turned out that Papa Mu had spent some time to find out where she was hiding, so he sent someone to deliver a package to her. When Mu Tongxue opened the package, she was shocked, because there were a bunch of dead mice inside. Moreover, Papa Mu left a letter for her. If you dare to call the police, you will never be able to live in peace for the rest of your life. Try me if you don't believe me. Grandpa Shen woke up early in the morning. He went to the small house to comfort Mu Tongxue. After all, it was not the time for the show yet, so he still had to be perfunctory. When she saw Grandpa Shen, Mu Tongxue jumped into his arms. Grandpa, you scared me. You really scared me. Grandpa Shen pushed her away. Then he scolded Papa Mu. You are worse than an animal. You have done so many evil things, and you still don't know how to stop. Grandpa, can I move somewhere else? I am too far away from you. I am scared. Mu Tongxue was pitiful. She just wanted to move into the Shen family. However, no one in the Shen family knew about it yet, because Grandpa Shen still wanted to figure out how his son became a vegetable. So he comforted Mu Tongxue. The Shen family doesn't know about you and your sister yet. I need some time to make the arrangements. So I can't bring you home now. But I can move you somewhere else. Mu Tongxue listened to Grandpa Shen's explanation. She knew that she could not move into the Shen family easily, so she nodded. All right. I will listen to your arrangement. Let me stay here and have breakfast with you. To comfort Mu Tongxue, Grandpa Shen suppressed his hatred for her and had breakfast with Mu Tongxue in the small house. Not only that, he even sent someone to move Mu Tongxue to a safer place. Mu Tongxue could feel Grandpa Shen's concern, but at the same time, she felt that he was guarded against her. She did not know if it was because Mu Chi-Chi had said something bad about her. But she must not let Mu Chi-Chi get the upper hand. So before Grandpa Shen left, Mu Tongxue tugged at his sleeve reluctantly. She said, "Grandpa, I know my sister hates me, so she doesn't want to see me, but please tell her that I have changed." "I haven't seen your sister yet," said Grandpa Shen. "Don't think too much." "Okay. I will wait for you, Grandpa." After breakfast, Grandpa Shen went back to the Shen family. He thought of Mu Tongshue's face. If Mu Tongxue really married into the Shen family, the Shen family would not have peace anymore. Luckily, God was right. Mu Tongxue was not a child of the Shen family. Otherwise, if the Shen family had such an animal, he would not be able to face his ancestors even if he died. Chapter 129. But on the same day, the Jianchuan police suddenly contacted Su Zipei, saying that they had found new clues about the fire at the Mu family home. Why would the Jianchuan police still pay attention to the incident after so long? Wasn't the case closed as an accident? Still, both Su Zipei and Mu Qiqi went to the police station. It turned out that the police had caught a group of thugs who took money to do things for others. They were caught in a brawl, and according to one of them, Cheng Chong, he had taken the Mu family's money and entered the villa with the Mu family's key. He did two things. One was to direct the fire to the wall, and the other was to lock all the doors in the villa. Who hired you? Tell me the truth. Who else? Isn't it that woman's husband who died? He didn't want her to take his assets, so he faked the fire and burned his wife to death. The man was unkempt, skinny and short. His eyes were on the ground as he explained. That man gave me a lot of money and sent me abroad, but I sneaked back because my wife said she was about to give birth. I've always been clean, but this time, my wife tricked me into coming back. Clean? You're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. The police only came out to meet Su Zipei and Mu Qiqi after interrogating the suspect. Now that the police have important clues and evidence, I believe the truth will be revealed soon. Although I'm mentally prepared, it's still hard to accept the truth, Su Zipei told the police. Su Zipei said to the police, everyone knew who did it, but she did not believe that Mu Tongxue was innocent. Officer, my other niece was at the villa the night the fire broke out. Are you going to interrogate her? Questioning is a necessary procedure, the police replied. Don't worry. Since it's not an accident, the police will definitely get to the bottom of it. Officer, my mother came to the Mu family with a lawyer. The lawyer said that the man agreed to the divorce without any struggle. Logically speaking, my mother should have left the Mu family after signing the divorce papers. If it were you, would you still stay there after the divorce? Unless someone wants her to stay. Miss Mu, what do you mean? The police asked. Although Mu Tongxue is my sister, and it is a little too much to say that she is a suspect, I still hope that the police will not miss this direction. When my mother passed away, she was unrecognizable. I don't want anyone related to this to get away with it. After listening to Mu Qiqi, the police nodded. Okay, we will be careful. When they walked out of the police station, they had mixed feelings. But no matter what, Papa Mu could not escape, because the police will soon issue an arrest warrant to the Mu family. Of course, Grandpa Mu would not protect his son anymore. He told the police to ask for help if they needed it. However, the police did not report it to the police to prevent Papa Mu from escaping. They did not want to alert the enemy. Then the police contacted Grandpa Shen. After all, they could only contact the Shen family if they wanted to interrogate Mu Tongxue. That was the hint Su Zipei gave the police. Since it was the Shen family, the police did not dare to act recklessly. But Grandpa Shen was very open-minded. She is with me. If the police need her, I will ask her to cooperate. Mu Tongxue did not expect Papa Mu to be exposed so quickly. She panicked when she saw the police, but she pretended to be calm. She pretended to be pitiful in front of Grandpa Sheng. Grandpa, I am so scared. It's okay. You just need to answer the police's questions truthfully. Moreover, it was not an interrogation for Mu Tongxue. It was just an understanding of the situation. She did not have to go to the police station. After all, she was the victim in name. All right, Mu Tongxue said pitifully. Then, the police went to Mu Tongxue's temporary residence and interrogated her for half an hour. But the police had obviously underestimated Mu Tongshua's mentality. She only said that she did not know anything. She also emphasized that she could not save her mother if she could not open the door. She even cried when she was asked about the details. That way the police could not get anything out of her. It was hard for them to find her fault from the details. Even when they asked her why Mama Mu stayed at the mansion that night, she could answer them fluently. It was because she was abused by Papa Mu and Mama Mu stayed at home to take care of her. Now that Mama Mu had passed away, there was no evidence. Thank you for your cooperation today. The police will inform you if there is any news. Mu Tongxue was stunned. She sat on the sofa and cried. Of course. Who would have the heart to question her or suspect her when she cried like that? Grandpa, it's all my fault. I did not open the door. Alright, it's not your fault. Rest well. The police are just asking questions to find out the truth. Grandpa Shen quickly comforted her. The truth would never be revealed. Before this, she thought that she was being used by Papa Mu. She took the blame for him. She did not expect that all the evidence pointed to that scumbag. It couldn't get any better than that. In fact, Su Zipei and Mu Qiqi knew that they could not do anything to Mu Tongxue. But even so, they still wanted to try. The results of the police's interrogation were all within expectations. Mu Tongxue insisted that she was asleep and couldn't open the door. Now that there's a witness, she's even more certain that she'll be able to escape from this incident. Lu Wenhua went to the mansion to visit them in the afternoon. But when he entered the mansion, Su Zipei received the news from the police. Lu Wenhua felt helpless when he saw their serious expressions. Why didn't that fire burn Mu Tongxue to ashes? Why didn't that scum think of burning Mu Tongxue to ashes? Su Zipei and Lu Wenhua looked at each other when they heard what Mu Qiqi said. Then they said at the same time, Qiqi. Aunt Uncle Lu, I am serious. If Mu Tongxue can be cleared of all charges, I will torture her with all my might. In the future, no matter where, no matter when. You are the daughter of the Shen family. Who is she? Do you think that you will have fewer chances to torture her in the future? Su Zipei quickly comforted her. She is having a lot of fun selling herself to gain sympathy. Let's see if she can marry into the Shen family. That's right. Qiqi karma is coming. But it's not time yet. Since that scum from the Mu family is wanted now, Mu Tongxue will be exposed one day. Chapter 130. Mu Qiqi was stunned. She held her phone and did not know how to answer Sheng Xiao. After a while, she plucked up her courage and replied, Let's meet. If Sheng Xiao did not tell her that she should go back to the Shen family, she would not want to go back to this rich family. Jingyan will come and pick you up tonight, Sheng Xiao replied. Don't be nervous, okay? I am not nervous, Mu Qiqi replied. She would only be nervous when she had expectations for others. But she obviously did not have any expectations for the Shen family. I will try my best to come after I finish my work. Okay. Mu Qiqi only replied with one word. But she was actually a little doubtful about going back to the Shen family. If the Shen family knew about her existence, would she have to move to the Shen family? If that was the case, would she not have the chance to meet Sheng Xiao anymore? Of course, since she agreed to it, it meant that she believed that Sheng Xiao would solve the problem. But she was curious about what Sheng Xiao would do. What's wrong? Su Zipei asked when she saw that she was lost in thought. Xiao Xiao said that Grandpa Shen wants to see me, Mu Qiqi replied. Since Grandpa Shen wants to see you, you should go. Qiqi, you are a member of the Shen family. That is an undeniable fact. Su Zipei had the same thought as Sheng Xiao. Mama Mu had passed away. Although Mu Qiqi behaved as if she did not need other family members, they were still her family. Luckily, she still had her father. I know. Mu Qiqi nodded. Then, she got up and went back to her room. Is there something bothering her? Su Zipei asked when she saw Mu Qiqi's gloomy mood. Lu Wenhua answered her question. If Qiqi goes back to the Shen family, her relationship with Sheng Xiao will change. Do you think she will not be worried? Actually, she does not have to worry at all. Since young Master Sheng has arranged it this way, it means that nothing will change. Su Zipei trusted Sheng Xiao. In the evening, Mu Qiqi changed into a blue dress that went past her knees. Then, she got into the car that Jing Yun came to pick her up. It appeared to be the first time she and Jing Yun were alone in the same space. She knew that Jing Yun probably didn't like her, which was why they were awkwardly on the way to the hospital. She wanted to find something to talk about, but she knew that Jing Yun wouldn't want to talk to her. Miss Qiqi, I know what you are thinking. However, since I have chosen to stand on the same side as young master, I will help you with all my heart. He likes you and chooses you. Even if he has to fight against the whole world, it doesn't matter. So, I can't let him fight alone. Please don't let him fight alone. This is the happiness of the two of you. Can you explain it more clearly? Mu Qiqi did not really understand what he was saying. Do you know how hard it is to join the Sheng family? Although young master said that he doesn't care if you have a background and can help you achieve anything, you should show your ability and attitude as a young lady of the Shen family, since you are a member of the Shen family. That way, even if your relationship is revealed one day, the Sheng family wouldn't make things difficult for young master and embarrass him. Do you understand? Although I don't know how the Sheng family would not make things difficult for you, because you are uncle and nephew. I know what you mean. Mu Qiqi replied seriously. I will do my best to stand firm in the Shen family. I would give anything as long as I can be with Xiao Xiao. Remember what you said today. I will. Mu Qiqi kept reminding herself in the depths of her heart. For Sheng Xiao, even if there were many things she could not do, did not like, or was unwilling to do, she was still willing to try, because she gradually understood that it was not easy to stay by Sheng Xiao's side forever, unless they did not want anyone's acknowledgement. Even so, Sheng Xiao was such an excellent person and the crown prince of Huangyao. She did not want him to lose any of his glory. He should be at the highest position and the most dazzling place. Soon they arrived at the hospital. Jing Yun led Mu Qiqi to Shen Jinchuan's ward, where Grandpa Shen was sitting beside his son and wiping his body. Old Shen, I've brought her. Grandpa Shen put down the towel and turned to see Mu Qiqi. She clearly looked very similar to Mu Tongxue, but strangely they were completely different. The biggest difference was naturally the look in their eyes. Mu Qiqi's eyes were filled with confusion and bewilderment. That was how a normal person should react. Unlike Mu Tongxue, who cried a little and called him Grandpa. Grandpa Shen. Mu Qiqi bowed and greeted Grandpa Shen politely. Grandpa Shen raised his eyebrows when he heard the word Grandpa Shen. That's not how your little sister addresses me. She addresses me as Grandpa very affectionately. It's easy to call someone Grandpa, but I believe Grandpa Shen doesn't care, if it's not from the bottom of his heart. Mu Qiqi explained. Girl, you are quite interesting. Grandpa Shen pointed at Mu Qiqi and smiled. Then he said to Jing Yun, I want to talk to her alone. Then I'll go back first. Jing Yun said and turned to Mu Qiqi, hinting for her to behave well. Mu Qiqi remained calm. She walked to the bedside and looked at the skinny man lying on the bed. This is your biological father. He has been like this for many years. Grandpa Shen, I'm not good with words. I can't say anything nice to comfort you. Grandpa Shen smiled and turned to look at Mu Qiqi. He frowned when he saw the tattoo on her earlobe. Why did you get a tattoo at such a young age? It's not pretty. Mu Qiqi touched her earlobe and smiled. Speaking of which, it's because I had a dream. I dreamed that Mu Tongxue pretended to be me and did evil things. So I got a tattoo. It's to make the difference between us bigger. The difference between you two is very big. You are a member of the Shen family, but she is not. Grandpa Shen looked at Mu Qiqi seriously. Then he turned around and wiped his son's arm. I can feel that you are guarded against me. Can you tell me why? I don't know you. Maybe I will be more relaxed when I know you better. Grandpa Shen nodded. We should meet more in the future. You won't be so cautious when you return to the Shen family. Look at you. If you could learn half of Mu Tongshua's slyness, you wouldn't have been bullied so much. But your character now is just like me when I was young. Mu Qiqi was about to say something, but Sheng Xiao appeared behind them. Chapter 131. Did you have a good time? Sigh. This girl is so hard to talk to. The old man shook his head. She's the same as I used to be. She can't even say a word to someone she doesn't know. It's so awkward. Sheng Xiao put his right hand on Muqiqi's head and pulled her behind him, as if he was protecting a cub. What's there to be happy about talking to her? You should talk to me. She has to return to the Shen family eventually. I've already had people tidy up the courtyard. Muqiqi quickly looked at Sheng Xiao when she heard that. Sheng Xiao smiled and told the old man, Uncle Shen, you can take your granddaughter back. But it's best if you don't take her back. Why? First of all, Brother Shen's fiancée has been by his side all these years, taking care of him. What would she think if you just bring her back to the Shen family? Moreover, the brothers of the Shen family have already taken Brother Shen's fiancée as their sister-in-law. Aren't you just waiting for her to be bullied if you bring her back just like that? But she is still a member of the Shen family. Isn't my mansion not as comfortable as the Shen's? Moreover, Muqiqi has an aunt. Wouldn't it be safer if you take her back and let her stay in my mansion? Wouldn't it be a win-win situation if Muqiqi goes back to the Shen family when she gets familiar with the uncles of the Shen family? Grandpa Shen thought that Sheng Xiao had a point. After all, it would take time for the Shen family to accept the truth. But Muqiqi can't not return to the Shen family for the rest of her life. Just bring her back during the holidays. Who can say anything? If you really think it's inappropriate to stay with the Sheng family, you can buy my little mansion. She's used to it anyway, and she can take care of her aunt. The old man nodded at Sheng Xiao's arrangement. All right, we'll do as you say, but I might have to trouble Jing Yin. In fact, Muqiqi had been very nervous throughout, afraid that the old man would not allow her to stay in the little mansion. But she finally breathed a sigh of relief when the old man agreed. She secretly tugged at Sheng Xiao's sleeve. Sheng Xiao gestured for her to listen. But Qiqi, according to seniority, you should call 8th brother Sheng uncle. Is that right? When Grandpa Sheng said that, Sheng Xiao's face darkened. I'm only 8 years older than her. Seniority cannot be messed up. What do you mean by seniority can't be messed up? Seniority has long been messed up. The two of them were already sleeping on the same bed. How could they still consider their seniority? Old people were really stubborn and traditional. Muqiqi stared at him without saying a word. How could she call him uncle? What's the progress on Brother Shen's matter? In order to change the topic, Sheng Xiao quickly shifted the focus to Shen Jianchuan. That scum from the Mu clan is currently wanted. After we catch him, let's see if we can interrogate him. Grandpa Shen replied, I'll tell the Shen family about Mu Tongxue after he's arrested. I don't want to delay Mu Tongxue's matter any longer. That girl is such a drama queen. I don't want to spend another second with her. I don't know what kind of outrageous requests she will make in the future. You have no idea how close she was to asking me to bring her back to the Shen family. Grandpa Shen nodded. She will definitely ask to meet her sister and reconcile with her. Grandpa Shen looked at Sheng Xiao as if he was a monster. Don't jinx it. She won't be satisfied with being locked up in the little house by you. What Sheng Xiao meant was that if Grandpa Shen refused to let her into the Shen family, she would choose to take the initiative. After all, Papa Mu was after her in the whole city. She knew that she would be safer than staying in the Shen family. If you don't believe me, let's bet. Actually, Grandpa Shen was a very humorous old man. Muqiqi could tell that. And the reason why Sheng Xiao talks so much to Grandpa Shen was to lighten Muqiqi's psychological burden. He did not want her to feel so pressured. In the end, the two men chatted at the side. Muqiqi took the towel and wiped Shen Jianchuan's body. Although she did not have any feelings for Shen Jianchuan, he was her biological father. Her biological father. After a while, Mu Tongxue's bodyguard called Grandpa Shen. Grandpa Shen hung up the phone and pointed at Sheng Xiao. Jinx it. Go now. Help me send Muqiqi back. Grandpa Shen said to Sheng Xiao. Then, he reached out to Muqiqi and held her right hand. I left in a hurry today because I wanted to help you. Now I have to appease Mu Tongxue. It's not because I'm biased towards her. Do you understand? I know. Muqiqi nodded. Go home now. I'll come to see you in 2 days. Muqiqi watched Grandpa Shen leave. Then she got into the car with Sheng Xiao. After Muqiqi fastened her seatbelt, Sheng Xiao said to her. Did you keep your distance from Grandpa Shen because you are moving back to the Shen family? Mu Qiqi nodded. I don't want to leave you. I didn't agree. Who can make you leave me? Sheng Xiao smiled. Then he brought Mu Qiqi home. It's all in my plan. You don't have to worry. But you suddenly became my uncle. I'll let you know later whether I'm your uncle or your man. Sheng Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi with a fiery gaze. She could not help blushing. No matter what outsiders say about our relationship, you must know that we are inseparable, regardless of our souls and bodies. I'll remember that. But I really hope that Mu Tongxue will tell the Shen family about it. The more the better. Sheng Xiao smiled as he drove. On the other hand, Mu Qiqi simply stared at his profile, with a look of utter infatuation. His strong features appeared even more alluring and sexy under the flickering streetlights. Sheng Xiao was right. Mu Tongxue broke down when she heard from her bodyguard that Grandpa Shen wanted to meet Mu Qiqi today. Why didn't Grandpa bring her back to the Shen family? Why did he let her stay in this small house, and let her life be threatened by that bastard? She could not just sit there and wait for her death. So she pretended to be frightened. She kept saying that she could feel Papa Mu nearby, and wanted to take her life. She tried her best to act like a frightened girl. She even hit her head against the wall. Her acting was so realistic that the bodyguards were impressed. So she begged the bodyguards to bring her back to the Shen family, to a safe place. Otherwise, she would continue to hurt herself. The bodyguards had no choice but to contact Grandpa Shen. Grandpa Shen took a deep breath and smiled. Since you have decided to put on a show, let's make it big. Let this girl go back and shield Mu Qiqi from the bullets of the Shen family. Chapter 132. Mu Tongxue knocked her head until it was bleeding. No one could bear to see that. She was such a little girl. She would do anything to achieve her goal. It was an eye-opener for Grandpa Shen. Compared to the one on the wanted list, this one was even scarier. However, the members of the Shen family were not easy to deal with. Especially after so many years of getting along with Shen Jianchuan's fiancé. They had always respected her as their sister-in-law. If Shen Jianchuan suddenly had two daughters, look at their attitude. Although they would not chase after them, they would definitely roll their eyes and ridicule them. If both of them were really the Shen family's granddaughters, Grandpa Shen would feel troubled. He might not be able to bring them back to the Shen family for the rest of his life. But since Mu Tongxue wanted to join the Shen family so much, he would let her be a part of the family. He would let Mu Qiqi enjoy her sister's blessing. After Grandpa Shen came back from the hospital, he went straight to the small house to pick Mu Tongxue up. Anyway, he had already prepared a room in the Shen family's villa. It was not a big deal to let her stay there for the time being. Mu Tongxue knew that she was finally going to join the Shen family. She was very happy. Of course, she could not show her excitement on her face. She had to be gentle. It was because a girl's gentleness could get more care and sympathy. But she did not know that this trick would not work in front of the Shen family. Grandpa Shen liked people like Mu Qiqi the most. She had a temper and a backbone. She was a real person with flesh and blood. Grandpa, have you seen my sister? Is she willing to return to the Shen family? She is not good enough. Grandpa Shen said meaningfully. Just mind your own business. You don't have to worry about your sister. According to Grandpa Shen's answer, he must have hit a wall in front of Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi was used to being wild. She probably did not want to be restrained by the Shen family. Otherwise, how could she be with her wild man? Mu Tongxue sneered in her heart. Unknowingly, she had arrived at the gate of the Shen family. The Shen family had a Chinese-style courtyard. Every blade of grass and tree was filled with the fragrance of books. At this time, all the Shens had already returned home. After all, it was late at night. However, when they saw Grandpa Shen coming home with a young girl, they were all shocked. He did not let Mu Tongxue meet the Shen family directly. Instead, he let Mu Tongxue stay in the house first. If there was anything, they could talk about it tomorrow. But how could the Shen family endure it? After Grandpa Shen settled Mu Tongxue down, he asked, "Dad, what's going on? Why did you bring such a young girl back?" Grandpa Shen's youngest daughter asked. She was 32 years old, but still unmarried. She was Mu Qiqi's youngest aunt. She's your eldest brother's daughter. I'll tell you more about it during breakfast tomorrow. Go back to sleep now. I'm tired. Grandpa Shen did not plan to answer everyone's questions tonight. Dad, what are you doing? That's the daughter of the Mu family. I've seen her in the newspaper. Shen Libing said, pointing at Mu Tongshua's room. Then she covered her mouth. You mean, brother and that woman? That's impossible. We'll talk tomorrow. Mu Tongshua's appearance would surely stir up a storm in the Shen family. Most importantly, what would Rong Junhan, Shen Jianchuan's fiancé, think? He did not tell them tonight because he wanted Shen Libing to call Rong Junhan and let her know that something like that happened. After that, Grandpa Shen called Sheng Xiao once. But when he called, Sheng Xiao was hugging Mu Qiqi, who was sweating profusely. Boy, did I disturb your good time? Sheng Xiao lowered his head and looked at Mu Qiqi. He signaled her to keep quiet. Then he took the phone and sat up. Go ahead. It's nothing important. I just want to tell Qiqi that I'm the one who brought Mu Tongxue back to the Shen family. But I'm just a cannon fodder for her. Don't think too much about it. I'll send you the number later. You can tell her yourself. All right. Go ahead. Grandpa Shen was very qualified. How could he not know what Sheng Xiao was doing when he lowered his voice? But he did not know who was with Sheng Xiao at that moment. After he put down the phone, Sheng Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi and kissed her on the top of her head. We've already become one. But I still have to pretend that I don't know you. Mu Qiqi smiled and replied, Uncle, who are you? You little one is asking for a mile after being given an inch. But Grandpa Shen has made full use of Mu Tongxue this time. He let her face the storm of the Shen family, and you will be spared from this. That's why I said that fate is fair. Now it's her turn to suffer for me. She deserves it. Sheng Xiao carried Mu Qiqi to the bathroom after he heard that. So, you should go to the university and show your attitude towards the Shen family. They are a proud family. The more you show your weakness, the more they will not accept it. Just wait and see. Mu Tongshua's acting skills will only get 10 times more disgust from the Shen family. I'll listen to you. Good girl. After Sheng Xiao kissed her for the last time, he finally stopped. After washing up, he hugged Mu Qiqi to sleep. Just like what Sheng Xiao said, her future would only get better. Tomorrow, she would go to Shengting University, and Mu Tongxue would enjoy herself in the Shen family. The next morning, Mu Qiqi was supposed to go to the university. But the police station called and told her that Papa Mu had been arrested. They found him in an old factory in the suburbs of Jianchuan. It was a resident who reported the case. Because that bastard was penniless, he had no choice but to rob someone. Su Zipei looked at Mu Qiqi after she got the news. You go to the university. I'll go to the police station. Aunt, I'll go too. Mu Qiqi felt uneasy without seeing that bastard being arrested. But she felt awkward when she bumped into Grandpa Mu at the police station. I heard that Mu Tongxue has been brought back to the Shen family. Qiqi, you must be smarter this time. Don't let her take everything away from you. Grandpa Mu, everything that belongs to me will stay with me. No one can take it away from me. That was because Grandpa Mu did not know that the person behind Mu Qiqi was not the Shen family, but Sheng Xiao. That was why she was so confident. What about the Shen family? Because of the phone call, Rong Junhan went to the Shen family early in the morning. She had mixed feelings when she heard that Shen Jianchuan had a daughter. So, the Shen family was in chaos early in the morning. But Grandpa Shen still brought Mu Tongxue to the Shen family. Mu Tongxue lowered her head. She did not dare to look at the elders of the Shen family. Chapter 133. Although she has been raised by the Mu family for 18 years, she is still Jianchuan's flesh and blood. Grandpa Shen sat on the main seat and said. Mu Tongxue was standing beside him. But Mu Tongxue felt uncomfortable being looked at like this. Father, have you done the test? Do you need to worry about this? Grandpa Shen sneered. Fine. Even if you have done the test and he is eldest brother, have you ever thought about eldest sister-in-law's feelings? Sister-in-law has been taking care of big brother's sickbed for so many years. Aren't you just embarrassing her by doing this? Indeed, the Shen family did not accept the fact that Mu Tongxue was their niece, especially when Mu Tongxue was the daughter of the Mu family. What did it mean? Shen Jianxuan and Su Ziqing had an ambiguous relationship. Didn't it mean that they had wronged Rong Junhan? Their so-called eldest sister-in-law was sitting at the side with tears in her eyes. But she did not say a word and just cried, because she knew that someone would speak up for her. But she is Jianxuan's daughter. She is the flesh and blood of the Shen family. Do you want me to watch her live outside and not care about her? Father, we don't mean that. But you have hurt eldest sister-in-law's feelings by bringing her back. Moreover, you should know what kind of person the girl you brought back is. It's clear from the newspapers. If she had any self-respect, she wouldn't be in such a hurry to enter the Shen family, right? How dare you? Grandpa Shen shouted. Do you think you are the master of the Shen family? Father, now that I've brought her back and told you everything, I know it's hard for you to accept it. But she's your eldest brother's daughter after all. He might only have 2 daughters in his life. Grandpa Shen said sternly. I know you feel sorry for Junhan. I feel sorry for Junhan too. It's not appropriate to tell others about this. But what can I do? Well, what do you think, Junhan? Grandpa Shen asked Rong Junhan. But she could not accept it and ran out of the Shen family. She had been taking care of one person for 20 years. But in the end, that person had a child with another woman? How could she accept it? Eldest sister-in-law, the brothers shouted in unison, but they had already run far away. Dad, just admit that she's your granddaughter. As for the rest of us, you don't have to worry about us. You don't care anyway. The breakfast ended on a sour note. Soon, only Grandpa Shen and Mu Tongxue were left in the dining room. Grandpa Shen knew what was going on, so he was calm. He said to Mu Tongxue, let's have breakfast. Don't worry about them. Mu Tongxue was trembling all over. She had never thought that the Shen family would hate her existence. Grandpa, it's okay. Come, Grandpa is here too. What was the use of having Grandpa Shen? After all, most of the people in this family did not approve of her. With such an intense reaction, it was impossible for them to approve of her in a short period of time. This was a far cry from the Shen family she had imagined. She was here to be a rich young lady, and to enjoy her life, not to be bullied, and to endure being looked down upon. Grandpa Shen stole a glance at Mu Tongxue's expression. He knew that she must be very disappointed. Do you think it's so easy to enter someone else's house? This was just the beginning. After that, Grandpa Shen received a call from the police station. Papa Mu had accused Mu Tongxue as the mastermind of the fire that night. The police wanted Mu Tongxue to confront Papa Mu at the police station. Grandpa Shen has plenty of time anyway. What's wrong with going? But Mu Tongxue was not willing to go. Grandpa, can I not go? That scumbag has been caught. Don't be afraid. Grandpa Shen comforted her. It's okay. Listen to me. All right then. Mu Tongxue said with a gloomy face. Grandpa, is sister really not coming back to the Shen family? What's wrong? Grandpa Shen asked even though he knew the answer. Nothing. How could Grandpa Shen not know what Mu Tongxue was thinking? She thought that she could become the young lady of the Shen family, after entering the Shen family, and live a better life than the Mu family. But what was the truth? When she entered the Shen family, she realized that she was not accepted by anyone in the family. At that moment, she thought of Mu Qiqi, who was the scapegoat. How could she feel good without her sister? How could she not ask? Grandpa Shen knew what she was thinking. But he was sorry. His role now was to bear for Mu Qiqi. Soon, Grandpa Shen brought Mu Tongxue to the police station. Mu Qiqi had not left the police station yet. When she saw Grandpa Shen and Mu Tongxue, she said to Su Zipei, Aunt Zipei, it's almost time for me to report to the university. All right. Go ahead. I'll call you whenever I know the situation here. Mu Qiqi did not mind seeing Mu Tongxue, so she left. But Mu Tongxue wanted to see Mu Qiqi very much. When she saw Mu Qiqi leaving, she quickly went to stop her. But Su Zipei stopped her. What are you doing? Aunt Zipei, why did sister leave when she saw me? She started school today. Do you think she is as free as you? Su Zipei said. Then, she nodded at Grandpa Shun as a greeting. Are you Grandpa Shun? Tongxue, go in. Grandpa is waiting outside. Grandpa Shun handed Mu Tongxue over to the police. Although Mu Tongxue was unwilling, she had to listen to Grandpa Shun and the police. Although it was useless for Papa Mu to accuse her, because there was no evidence. But she was worried that Grandpa Shun would stay with Su Zipei. She felt a sense of danger. She was afraid that Su Zipei would badmouth her in front of Grandpa Shun. In fact, Grandpa Shun knew better than anyone that Papa Mu was telling the truth. Mu Tongxue was the one who planned the fire. So, when Mu Tongxue entered the interrogation room, Grandpa Shun and Su Zipei got into the black car. They talked in the car. Grandpa Shun, you can see how much Mu Tongxue hates Mu Tongxue. What's there to be afraid of? If it were me, I would have beaten Mu Tongxue up. The problem is that Mu Tongxue is not a boy. Grandpa Shun snorted. Such a vain person. She asked for it when she was willing to enter the Shun family to take the blame for Mu Tongxue. Then when does Grandpa Shun plan to reveal Mu Tongxue and Mu Qiqi's identity? Chapter 134. As for Mu Tongxue, she pretended to be innocent and kind when she arrived at the police station. No matter how the police interrogated her, or how agitated Papa Mu was, she denied everything. After all, Papa Mu and the police had no evidence. So they could only watch Mu Tongxue get away from this incident. So, when Mu Tongxue came out of the interrogation room, her face was full of tears again. Many men would have been fooled if they did not know about her evil character. Everything is fine now, Miss Mu. You can go back now. Officer, I want to ask, will my father, Uncle Mu, be sentenced to death? Mu Tongxue asked the officer next to her before she left. That's the judge's decision. It's useless to ask me. Of course, the police did not know what Mu Tongxue was thinking. She was afraid that Papa Mu would seek revenge on her after he was released from prison. Of course, she could not tell the police about her worry. But when she walked out of the interrogation room, she saw Grandpa Shun and Su Zipei talking. Her heart skipped a beat. This was what she was worried and afraid of. She was afraid that Su Zipei would say something bad about her in front of Grandpa Shun. You're out? Did the police say anything? It's fine, Grandpa. We can go home now, Mu Tongxue said with a sobbing tone. At this moment, Su Zipei stood up from her chair and said, although you weren't the one who accomplished this, between you and your father, I'm more willing to believe him. Aunt Zipei, I know you hate me for what happened to my sister. But don't forget that I'm your niece too. No matter how bad I am, I've turned over a new leaf. Besides, I can't afford to be accused of murdering Mommy, so please don't pin it on me. Mu Tongxue was so aggrieved that she started sobbing. Aunt Zipei, I know you hate me for what happened to my sister. Grandpa Shun quickly said. You don't have to cry since you are innocent. Wipe your tears and let's go home. Okay. Mu Tongxue nodded. Then, she wiped her tears and followed Grandpa Shun. But Su Zipei laughed coldly. Although she could not do anything about it, the possibility of proving Mu Tongxue's guilt was too small. But it was fine, there was still a long way to go. There was still Mu Tongxue to endure. After the matter was settled, Su Zipei gave Mu Qiqi a call. And Mu Qiqi's registration was completed smoothly. It was just that she was too famous, and had caused a sensation all over the country. So when Mu Qiqi appeared in school, all the freshmen were pointing at her. That's Mu Qiqi, the one who got 730 points, right? I didn't expect her to choose forensic science, which is the most unpopular department. At that time, the Ministry of Education gave her a separate exam. Although the difficulty of the exam was announced, it was still a separate exam. She probably thought people would talk about her qualifications. So she willingly went to the forensic science faculty. I've seen her answers before. Her answers are real. Very few girls are as good as her in science and technology. It's just the start of the semester, and he's already the talk of the town. How envious. It's a pity that she quarreled with her family. I don't think she's that great. She's just a daughter chased out of the Mu family now. There's nothing to be proud of. Mu Qiqi heard people talking about her along the way. Although most of them were not malicious, she still put on a hat and kept a low profile. After all, she just wanted to go to school, not to be famous. Moreover, her relationship with Sheng Xiao had determined that she must be careful. Moreover, what daughter of the Mu family? She was a real Shen. After signing up, Mu Qiqi went to the police station. She had not seen Papa Mu since he was arrested. Although the law could not prove Mu Tongshue's guilt, she wanted to know how Mu Tongxue and Papa Mu plotted to kill her mother. When she arrived at the police station, the police arranged a meeting between Mu Qiqi and Papa Mu. When Papa Mu saw Mu Qiqi, he was not as excited as when he saw Mu Tongxue. He was even calm. What do you want to know? I've told the police everything that needs to be said. I want to know what Mu Tongxue told you. She told me not to worry. She would settle the divorce with that woman. She would not let that woman take a single cent from me. Moreover, she reminded me that I could satisfy whatever that woman wanted, because she would fulfill my wish. Papa Mu chuckled. But now, she doesn't want to admit it. You're the one who raised this wolf. You should bear the consequences yourself, Mu Qiqi said to Papa Mu. Mu Qiqi said to Papa Mu herself. Then, she stood up and left the meeting room. However, Papa Mu stopped her just as she was about to leave. Qiqi, I've never wanted you to strangle her so badly. You hate her so much. You will strangle her, won't you? I won't strangle her, Mu Qiqi said without turning her head. Because she'll only suffer more. Let me tell you another secret. It's true that I'm the daughter of the Shen family. But Mu Tongxue is really your daughter. She's not a Shen. Papa Mu laughed even louder. So she's acting all high and mighty in front of me. But she doesn't even know that she's not a Shen? You won't tell her, will you? Why should I tell her such an interesting thing? Papa Mu asked. My family is torn apart anyway. My life is destined to be like this. If that's the case, why should I let Mu Tongxue live a good life? Mu Qiqi laughed coldly. Then she walked out of the police station. Then, Sheng Xiao drove his car to the entrance of the police station. He honked at Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi heaved a sigh of relief when she saw the familiar man in the driver's seat. Can we go home now, little princess of vengeance? Why did you get off work so early today? Mu Qiqi asked Sheng Xiao, who was wearing sunglasses. I wanted to send you to school myself. But I have a video conference at 10. I'll make it up to you now. Sheng Xiao turned to Mu Qiqi with his sunglasses on. Shall we have a candlelit dinner tonight? Why is it so grand? What day is it? It's the day Papa Mu is caught. It's also the day you start school. More importantly, it's the day the Shen family is turned upside down. Isn't it enough to celebrate? Chapter 135. But what about Aunt Zipei? Do you need to worry about Aunt Zipei? Do you think you are not a third wheel just because Principal Lu knows about it? Mu Qiqi smiled when she heard that. That's true. Mu Qiqi let Sheng Xiao arrange everything for her. As long as she was with this man, it did not matter where she went or what she did. But while she was enjoying her steak, Mu Tongxue was not having a good time. Although Grandpa Shen was there to protect her, he was just one person. And the Shen family was a big family. After the unhappy breakfast, the Shuns went to work. But when they got home, they still tried to persuade Grandpa Shen. Dad, I went to see eldest sister-in-law after I got off work. She cried the whole day and her eyes are swollen. Don't you think it's too unkind of you to do this? Second elder complained to Grandpa Shen. We can listen to you for other things. But we don't agree to bring the girl into our family. There are other ways to solve this. I know you are very against it. But I have told you that she is your eldest brother's daughter. Only this one? What about the other one? Why is she not willing to come back? Second elder asked. She might not care about our family. Isn't it settled now? Let the two sisters stay together and not return to the Shen family. Isn't it a happy ending? How about this? I will arrange it. I will send Shui, whatever it is. I will send her abroad. I will let her receive the best education. I am the one who brought her here. You have no right to say no. Grandpa Shun's eyes suddenly became fierce. Are you willing to abandon all of us for her? I will hold a party at home this weekend. I will reveal the identity of the child. You should be prepared. Dad, everyone must be present. This is an order. Grandpa Shun was usually kind and friendly, but when it came to this, he showed his strong authority as a parent. No one could resist him. Mu Tongxue was left in the living room. Soon, second brother of the Shun family rushed out of the door. When he saw Mu Tongxue standing outside, he said angrily, "There will never be a place for you in this family. No one will acknowledge you except Grandpa Shun. As an elder, I shouldn't say such things to you. But why isn't your sister in a hurry to marry into the Shun family?" It was not surprising that second brother was so excited. After Shun Jianchuan became a vegetable, Rong Junhan took good care of him. She treated him like a sister. Mu Tongxue felt wronged, and tears immediately flowed out of her eyes. Seeing this, second elder Shun felt even more annoyed. You only know how to cry. Soon, Grandpa Shun walked out of the study. When he saw Mu Tongshua's sad face, he simply comforted her. Don't mind them. By the way, I'll officially announce your identities this weekend. I know, Grandpa. Of course, Mu Tongxue did not know that Grandpa Shun was referring to Mu Qiqi's identity as a member of the Shun family and her identity as a member of the Mu family. When it was time for dinner, Mu Tongxue saw Mu Tongxue at the dining table. None of the Shuns came to the table. They locked themselves in their rooms. Mu Tongxue felt humiliated when she saw that. Of course, the Shuns could not go hungry, so the siblings went to a restaurant outside to have their dinner. I hate Mu Tongxue the moment I see her. I've read about her in the newspaper. I didn't expect that such a girl would cling on to the Shun family. Second elder snorted while holding his wine glass. As for the other one, her name is Mu Qiqi, right? I heard that Grandpa Shun went to meet her twice. But that girl did not make a clear statement. I like her. Although she's eldest brother's child, it's too cruel to eldest sister. Grandpa Shun wants to announce Mu Tongshue's identity this weekend. He's crazy. Third elder was furious. But Dad has ordered us to be there. Second elder's wife said. Now we have to think of a way to comfort eldest sister. I think we should talk to Mu Tongxue. Ask her to leave the Shun family. She can go wherever she wants. I'll pay for it. As long as she doesn't appear in eldest sister's sight. Mu Tongxue would never expect that the Shun family was trying their best to chase her out of the Shun family. And she was still immersed in the joy that Grandpa Shun was about to announce her identity. How could Grandpa Shun not know his children? Of course, he knew how much they hated Mu Tongxue. It was at this moment that Grandpa Shun had to show that Mu Qiqi did not want to return to the Shun family. Because that way the Shun family would like her more. Of course, Mu Qiqi did not show any strong desire to return to the Shun family. But Grandpa Shun must let his granddaughter return to the Shun family. In fact, although the Shun brothers and second elder's wife were against Mu Tongxue, third elder's wife did not think so, because she knew how stubborn Grandpa Shun was. Since Mu Tongxue could return to the Shun family, it meant that Grandpa Shun would protect her no matter what. She would be the new favorite of the Shun family in the future. She did not have a good relationship with Rong Junhan. Why should she fawn on eldest sister? Shouldn't she be fawning on Grandpa Shun's new favorite? So in the middle of the night, she made supper for Mu Tongxue, when the others went out for dinner. Tongxue, I'm your third aunt. Mu Tongxue felt her kindness. She quickly opened the door, and saw a long-haired woman, standing at the door with supper in her hand. She was smiling warmly. Are you still awake? No, third aunt. Don't mind what your uncle said. They have been bewitched by eldest sister for so many years. The woman explained. You are the legitimate daughter of the Shun family. Eldest sister is just an outsider. They will understand. Thank you, third aunt. Mu Tongshue's confidence was boosted by the woman's appearance. Because she was right. She was the blood of the Shun family. She had a close relationship with them. But eldest sister was just an outsider. The law would not recognize her. You don't have to be polite in front of that woman. Just tell me if you need anything. Understand? Okay. Mu Tongxue nodded. And of course Grandpa Shun knew about it. Grandpa Shun put his hands behind his back and snorted coldly. This third aunt was really good at fawning on people. She even fawned on a fake daughter of the Shun family. The real Pearl was in the small mansion now. Chapter 136. Ever since Mu Qiqi and Sheng Xiao's relationship was exposed in front of Su Zipei, Mu Qiqi rarely saw Sheng Xiao when she woke up in her new home. Usually, he would get up and go to Huang Yao. But today was different. When Mu Qiqi turned over and saw the man lying beside her, she was startled. Sheng Xiao did not open his eyes. He reached out and pulled Mu Qiqi into his arms, propping his chin on her head. "Why aren't you going to Huang Yao?" "Not today," Sheng Xiao replied. "Grandpa Shun called me last night before I went to bed. He said that the Shun family will arrange a banquet this weekend to officially reveal your identity. So, what does it have to do with you not going to work? I'll bring you to order a suit in the morning. I'm going to a charity banquet in the afternoon. Come with me then," Sheng Xiao said. Then, he opened his eyes and sat up on the big bed. Mu Qiqi almost drooled when she saw him like that. After all, Sheng Xiao's figure was very good. Moreover, he liked to wear a bath towel with his upper body bare. Who could resist his seduction? Seeing Mu Qiqi's unnatural expression, Sheng Xiao lowered his head to look at his own figure. Then he smiled wickedly. "Are you satisfied? I'll go make some sandwiches." Mu Qiqi blushed at his question. Sheng Xiao shook his head as he watched Mu Qiqi run away. They were already so familiar with each other. Why was she still so shy? Of course, Mu Qiqi would not attend the charity banquet in the afternoon. She would only accompany him, because he knew very well that Grandpa Mu would be attending the charity banquet today as well. Now was the time to let the Mu family know that he was behind Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi did not know anything. After breakfast, Sheng Xiao brought her to a high-end custom-made gown shop. Mu Qiqi was still afraid that someone would recognize her. But Sheng Xiao pinched her chin and said, "Jing Yan has arranged this shop. No one would dare to say anything. So you don't have to be so nervous. I have enough clothes. Do I really have to buy such high-end clothes when I'm going to the Shin family?" Sheng Xiao put his arm around her neck and said, "I want to buy clothes for my woman. Do you have a problem with that?" Mu Qiqi's heart was pounding. How could she stand Sheng Xiao's flirting? While Sheng Xiao was choosing a gown for Mu Qiqi in the shop, Mu Qiqi was trying on a gown in the fitting room. The salesperson in the shop was busy, but when Mu Qiqi was trying on the gown, she heard people gossiping. "Do you know that distinguished man outside? The young master of the Sheng family. But why does he have such a skinny girlfriend? He is young. He is at most 18. He's young, 18 years old at most." "That's true. But isn't it normal for rich kids to play around with young girls?" Mu Qiqi came out of the dressing room. Xiao Qi heard of the conversation. Of Xiao. When Mu Qiqi heard their discussion, she came out of the changing room and handed the clothes to the store manager. Then, she whispered a few words into Sheng Xiao's ear. Sheng Xiao's eyes darkened a little at that. Then, he crooked his finger at the manager. When the store manager came closer, he said to him, "The two employees in the changing room should close their mouths. They talk too much." The employee was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. "Don't worry, Mr. Sheng. I will arrange it." Even if Sheng Xiao did not say it, the two employees would not have a good time. After all, the most important thing to do in a shop like this was to know how to behave. If there is a next time, you should think about closing the shop. The employee was drenched in cold sweat. They fired the two employees as soon as they left. What kind of joke was that? They even dared to offend Sheng Xiao. Mu Qiqi was unhappy in the car. "Is it fun to talk about other people's lives?" Sheng Xiao smiled and patted Mu Qiqi's head. "Others are in charge of talking. I'm in charge of making them shut up." "But I didn't get the gown." "Who said that?" Sheng Xiao said mysteriously. "I chose one when you were trying on the gown. I'll send it to the villa after she adjusts the size. You know my size?" Sheng Xiao looked at her body from top to bottom. "Is it difficult?" Mu Qiqi snorted. She did not say anything. They rarely went on a date during the day. So, Sheng Xiao brought Mu Qiqi to the hotel where the charity banquet would be held after lunch. The banquet will end at 3 in the afternoon. I will pick you up later. Actually, I can go home. Wait for me. Sheng Xiao did not give Mu Qiqi any room to refute. He put on his maroon suit and went straight to the banquet hall. Of course, just as he expected, Grandpa Mu and Mr. Mu Xiao were there. Sheng Xiao had spent a few million for charity after completing the task assigned by Huang Yao. So he did not argue with the Mu family at the banquet. Grandpa Mu was curious. Perhaps Sheng Xiao was meditating now? He did not expect that Sheng Xiao would do that, because Sheng Xiao's car was right in front of them when they left the hotel. And the person who got in the car with Sheng Xiao was Mu Qiqi. Mr. Mu Xiao pointed at the girl in front and said to Grandpa Mu, "Father, isn't that Mu Qiqi?" "Where?" Grandpa Mu looked ahead. He saw Mu Qiqi lowering her hat and getting into Sheng Xiao's car. "Yes, that's Mu Qiqi. Why are they together?" Sheng Xiao and Mu Qiqi? The two of them got into the car with doubts on their faces. But soon they realized what was going on. "Father, I'm afraid that the young master of the Sheng family has been behind Mu Qiqi all this while. It's just that we did not notice it," said Mr. Mu Xiao. "Luckily, we did not poke the hornet's nest." No wonder Mu Qiqi managed to get through all the obstacles smoothly even though it was dangerous. It's all because of Sheng Xiao's help. The Sheng family is our enemy. Grandpa Mu shook his head and gestured to Mr. Mu Xiao not to say anything. Since Sheng Xiao let us know, it means that he is not afraid of anything. Since Mu Qiqi is not a member of the Mu family, it is none of our business who she is with. Let's not provoke Sheng Xiao. The Mu family can't afford to fight against him now. Let's avoid him. Don't mention Mu Qiqi's matter in the Mu family. All right. Mr. Mu Xiao knew the gap between Mu Group and Huang Yao very well. Moreover, he had just taken over Mu Group. He did not want to provoke Sheng Xiao. I just did not expect that Mu Qiqi had hidden herself so well. Sheng Xiao knew that the two of them had seen it. He wanted them to see that Mu Qiqi was once a lowly ant in the Mu family. But now, Mu Qiqi was not only the daughter of the Shen family. She was also Sheng Xiao's woman. It would make the Mu family even more regretful and afraid. Chapter 137. After the charity party, Grandpa Mu and Jun Linyuan went to the police station to visit Papa Mu. However, Papa Mu only wanted to see Grandpa Sheng, and he had nothing else to say. When Grandpa Sheng picked up the phone, he said, "Mu Qiqi told me a secret before. Do you know what it is, Grandpa? Mu Tongxue is my daughter. She has nothing to do with the Shen family." Then I want to see you because I want to tell you this. If Mu Tongxue is humiliated in the Shen family, she will not be able to return to the Mu family. If you dare to take her in, I will kill every single one of them when I get out. Papa Mu threatened Grandpa Mu fiercely. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have become like this. Grandpa Mu did not show any expression. He just shrugged. "I don't know who the person you are talking about is. Does she have anything to do with the Mu family? She made me become like this. I will not let her go. You should stay in prison. Reflect on yourself." Then Grandpa Mu turned around. But when he reached the door, he heard Papa Mu's voice. "Father, I'm sorry." Grandpa Mu did not say anything. He only moved his lips slightly. But he still left the detention center without looking back. Everything was over. Mu Qiqi and Sheng Xiao were together now. He did not blame Mu Qiqi. After all, the Mu family used to treat others badly. It was their retribution. As for Mu Tongxue, she was not part of the Mu family anymore. No one was allowed to mention her. Since Mu Tongxue was not a Shen, she would be kicked out of the Shen family sooner or later. Then, Grandpa Mu would wait for that day to come. At that moment, the whole world knew that Mu Tongxue was not a Shen. She was the only one who did not know. Ever since Grandpa Shen said that he would announce her identity as a Shen on the weekend, and with Third Aunt's support, she could sit and eat with the Shens now, although they did not talk to each other. It was all thanks to Third Aunt's help. But the Shens still looked down on her. They would not talk to her. Moreover, She knew that the Shuns were still comforting Rong Junhan. Just now, Grandpa Sheng and the brothers were discussing to invite eldest sister to our house, so that you can apologize to her in front of everyone. I don't know what the brothers are thinking. It's not like you have wronged eldest sister. Why would they ask you to kneel down? Third aunt came to Mu Tongxue during her free time. No, she purposely came to Mu Tongxue to reveal the truth. Thank you, third aunt, for telling me these things, so that I can be prepared. I will also say good things about you in front of Grandpa. Mu Tongxue was very familiar with the ways of the rich. The reason why third aunt was fawning over her was because she wanted her son to have a good future. After all, Grandpa Sheng's words carried a lot of weight in the military even after he retired. Then I'll have to thank you, Shui. Also, when that woman arrives, don't be afraid, understand? Thank you, third aunt. Want her to kneel down and apologize? What a joke. What did she do wrong? Her birth was not something she could decide. If she was really Shen Jianchuan's wife, she would accept it. But the problem was Rong Junhan was just his fiancé. How could she, a real member of the Shen family, apologize to an outsider? What was she thinking? No matter how much help Rong Junhan had given to these people, she did not owe her anything. Why did she have to bear the consequences? It would be great if Mu Qiqi was here. Mu Qiqi was such a good person. She would definitely kneel down and apologize. But it was impossible for her to do it. Of course, Grandpa Shen did not agree to his son's suggestion. Actually, Mu Tongxue should thank Rong Junhan for taking care of Shen Jianchuan for so many years. But it was not appropriate for her to kneel down. Although he understood that the Shuns wanted to appease Rong Junhan. Soon, Rong Junhan arrived at the Shen family. But she could not control herself. She covered her face and cried when she saw Mu Tongxue. There were only a few people in the house today. They were only the sisters-in-law of the Shen family. After all, the men had gone to work. The uncles told their wives to take good care of their sister-in-law. Soon, Grandpa Shen arrived at the living room. He looked at them and said, "Have a seat. Tongxue, you too. Junhan, the first reason I asked you to come here today is to apologize. After all, I did not consider your feelings. But please understand my position. I am the head of the family," said Grandpa Shen as he looked into Rong Junhan's eyes. Rong Junhan nodded. "I know you have done a lot for the Shen family all these years. Especially my son. With a daughter-in-law like you, I feel that I have no regrets in this life. However, it is also a fact that Jianchuan has a daughter. Moreover, according to the date, the twins were born before you got engaged. In other words, Jianchuan did not do anything to let you down. Before the marriage, isn't it all freedom? Don't worry. Do you understand?" Rong Junhan was so stubborn. She would not accept it even before the engagement. "The second thing is Tongxue. Go and pour a cup of tea for Aunt Rong." Grandpa Shen ordered Mu Tongxue. "Yes, Grandpa." Mu Tongxue followed Grandpa Shen's order. She brought the cup of tea to Rong Junhan. But Rong Junhan did not say anything. She picked up the cup and smashed it on the floor. Then, the boiling hot water splashed on Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue screamed and took 2 steps back. Rong Junhan stood up and said, "I'm not someone who can be dismissed with a cup of tea. Father, I've been trying my best to take care of everyone in the Shen family for so many years. Now that Jianchuan has a daughter like this, I can't accept it no matter what." But, Mu Tongxue suddenly said, "Aunt Rong, it is also a fact that my sister and I exist. What do you want?" "I don't know why we were born like this. Is it my fault? Why do I have to bear your blame?" Rong Junhan looked at Mu Tongxue in disbelief. "Are you talking to me? You are not qualified." Then, Rong Junhan gave Mu Tongxue a slap. "Why can't I blame you? You'll have to ask your great mother. Junhan, you are too much." Grandpa Shen stood up and said, "No one talks to me like that. Does she think that she is the daughter of the Shen family?" Chapter 138. Rong Junhan was shocked when she heard what Mu Tongxue said. The Shuns widened their eyes in shock. The Shuns had always respected Rong Junhan. No one dared to talk to her like that. Mu Tongxue was the first one. Seeing that Rong Junhan was about to hit her again, third aunt quickly went forward and pulled Mu Tongxue behind her. Eldest sister, she's just a child. You don't have to be angry. Rong Junhan sneered. Am I an outsider? Sister-in-law, don't be angry. What Tongxue said isn't completely unreasonable. After all, she can't choose her birth. You can't blame her, right? What about all the hard work I've done for the past 10 years? Rong Junhan asked third aunt. But this is big brother's daughter after all. Actually, it's not that I can't give in. Since the two sisters already exist, I have nothing to say. No matter how hurt I am, I have to accept it. However, I won't allow them to stay in the Shin family. As long as they don't let me know and don't appear in my sight, I'll pretend that I don't know about them. But if the flesh and blood of the Shin family is not in the Shin family, where should it be? Third aunt continued to ask. Since I am a member of the Shin family, I will be where I should be. This time, Mu Tongxue did not give in to Rong Junhan. I'm just an 18-year-old girl. I left my family. Where can I go? That's right. Sister-in-law, she's such a weak girl. If she really wandered outside and something happened to her, how would we explain it to eldest brother? Rong Junhan was furious when the two of them echoed each other. But Rong Junhan was not stupid enough to play along with them. She asked Grandpa Shin directly, Father, can't you agree to my request? If you want to admit it, I can't stop you. But I just don't want her to live in the Shin family. She can live anywhere she wants as long as she doesn't appear in my sight. Is this an extravagant request? Grandpa. Mu Tongxue stared at the old man, refusing to budge. Chi-Chi has no intention of returning to the Shin family. But Tongxue has nowhere to go. Since she is a member of the Shin family, I will naturally take responsibility until the end. Ha! Rong Junhan sneered. Let's wait and see this weekend. After that, Rong Junhan carried her bag and left the Shin family. Mu Tongxue covered her scalded skin and turned around to look at Grandpa Shin. Grandpa, go to the hospital. Grandpa Shin waved his hand. Let third daughter-in-law go with you. But Dad, sister-in-law is getting angrier and angrier, second aunt said helplessly. It can't be helped. Don't you know Junhan's temper? Grandpa Shin glanced at them. Why can't you go out and live with your sister? Second aunt turned to ask Mu Tongxue, but third aunt laughed. Second sister-in-law, are you still not clear about the relationship between these two sisters? Could they be put together? I can see that for the sake of an outsider, you've done your best and treated your own family harshly. Schwer, let's go. I'll send you to the hospital. Mu Tongxue glanced at second aunt and did not say anything. She let third aunt support her as they walked towards the entrance of the Shin family. You did well today. There's no need to be afraid of that woman. Mu Tongxue smiled. She felt happy too. She was just her father's fiancée. How could she be compared to her own flesh and blood? Moreover, Shen Jianchuan and Su Ziqing were a couple in the past. Eldest sister-in-law is just jealous. If your mother was born into a noble family, she would not have had anything to do with it. If that's the case, eldest sister-in-law can be considered as a third party. Mu Tongxue felt that what third aunt said made sense. Anyway, she still had a long way to go. She was a real Shin. Could she not win the hearts of the Shin family? Most importantly, she had entered the Shin family before Mu Chi-Chi, so she had more leverage than Mu Chi-Chi. Now that she was on the same side as third aunt, she would not have to worry about not having an ally to deal with Mu Chi-Chi in the future. But Mu Tongxue was completely wrong. It was true that Mu Chi-Chi did not enter the Shin family, but she still had Sheng Xiao. After so many years, Sheng Xiao knew the temperament of the Shin family very well. He also knew the taboos of the Shin family. Your second uncle is the deputy director of Jianchuan's Ministry of Land and Resources. He was clumsy when he was young. Your grandfather was busy with the military, and your grandmother passed away early. So he was taught by Rong Junhan. So, he was the one who opposed your decision to return to the Shin family. Your third uncle is a weapons engineer. He does not have any special relationship with Rong Junhan. But after so many years, he treats Rong Junhan like a family member. As for your aunt, She is an executive in a bank. She is like a sister to Rong Junhan. And your second aunt and third aunt. Your second aunt is a capable person. She speaks her mind. But your third aunt is a sly person. She is a typical fence-sitter. So there is a gap between them. As for the rest, Jing Yin has written down their preferences and taboos. Take a good look at them in the next few days. Sheng Xiao passed the information to Mu Qiqi. Do I have to please them? Of course not. You are my woman. Who do you need to please? Sheng Xiao raised his eyebrows. I want you to conquer them. And remember their preferences. So you can avoid misunderstandings. You can save a lot of trouble. Mu Qiqi took the information and nodded. Then, she took the opportunity to kiss Sheng Xiao on his lips. I understand what you are trying to do. Then I will watch your performance this weekend. Mu Qiqi nodded. If it were not for Sheng Xiao, she would only want to be with Su Zipei for the rest of her life. Of course, since Mu Tongxue was involved, she must put on a perfect performance. But what Mu Qiqi did not know was that Grandpa Shen had been contacting the police for a few days, because he wanted to know how Papa Mu had framed Xin Jianchuan and made him lie in the hospital forever. At first, Papa Mu refused to admit it. It was not until Grandpa Shen found all the people who were involved in the incident that Papa Mu finally said, I knew it. Once I'm in this cage, there will be people who will come to seek revenge. If that's the case, it would be better for you to confess. The police knocked on the table. Shen Jianchuan deserved it. Su Ziqing was already married to me. But he still wanted her back. We were already married then. Already. So I dug a hole for him to jump into. What's wrong with that? But what I did not expect was that after Su Ziqing married me, she did not forget about Shen Jianchuan at all. Although the two of them did not meet, I know. I know everything. Su Ziqing got to know me first. Not Shen Jianchuan. He suddenly appeared and took her away. Chapter 139. How did you do it? Tell me. Was it important how he did it now? For so many years, Grandpa Shen had always thought that his son deserved it. He never investigated the truth. Who would have thought that it was his best brother who did it? In fact, Grandpa Shen already had a rough idea of what was going on when Mu Qiqi and her sister's identity was exposed. But now Papa Mu was in prison. It had been 15 years since then. There was no way for him to investigate further. For such a woman, Grandpa Shen sighed. Old chief, do you want to avenge young Master Sheng? Do as you see fit. Grandpa Shen replied. He was not interested in a rat crossing the street. It was just an eye for an eye. Do it secretly. Don't worry, chief. We will take care of him. After making the last call, Grandpa Shen did not want to bring up the old scores anymore. After all, Su Ziqing was ruthless. She gave birth to the Shen family's daughter and let the Mu family raise her up. It was karma. Moreover, the Mu family still had a daughter. She was taking the blame for his granddaughter in the Shen family. Looking at Mu Tongshue's excited face, the show this weekend was going to be exciting. Third brother's wife was still trying to flatter him. He did not know how she would feel when the truth was revealed. He just did not know how Mu Qiqi felt now. Actually, Mu Qiqi's thoughts were not restricted by the Shen family at all. Since school had started in Shengting University, she was either going to the university to register or familiarize herself with the departments in the university. Next week, she would attend the military training outside the university. So, Mu Qiqi was not worried about the upcoming banquet. But at night, when Sheng Xiao returned home, Mu Qiqi asked him to check on his understanding of the Shen family. She also asked him to teach her table manners. But in the end, Mu Qiqi would sit on Sheng Xiao's lap. Xiao Xiao, when do you plan to let Grandpa know about our relationship after I return to the Shen family? Mu Qiqi wanted to ask what she should do next. You are not even a member of the Shen family. How can you be so arrogant? Sheng Xiao hugged her and drank the red wine. Mu Qiqi blushed. She touched Sheng Xiao's thin lips with her finger. She looked infatuated. Don't the Sheng family urge you to get married? What? You want to get married? Sheng Xiao chuckled. I promised my mother that I would bring her a daughter-in-law within 2 years. I'll do my best. Mu Qiqi immediately raised her hand and promised. Sheng Xiao put down his glass and held her raised finger. He placed it on his chest. Now you can perform well. Mu Qiqi understood what he meant. So, she reached out with her other hand and unbuttoned his shirt one by one. Sheng Xiao was enjoying Mu Qiqi's expression the whole time. When her shirt was unbuttoned, he put her on the dining table and kissed her. Whether it's joining the Shen family or the Sheng family, I'll be there to help you from the back. Mu Qiqi's heart seemed to be melted by a ball of fire. All she could see was Sheng Xiao's handsome face. Nothing else mattered. I've tried it on. It's beautiful, Mu Qiqi told him as they were getting intimate. Sheng Xiao put his arm around her waist and smiled. Don't you know whose eyes it is? It was a black dress inlaid with diamonds. It accentuated Mu Qiqi's figure, making her look delicate but not mature. Sheng Xiao felt that it suited Mu Qiqi very well at first glance. She was actually very suited to wear dark-colored clothes. The Shen family was in a foul mood these few days. They were fighting against each other. But they could not change the fact that Grandpa Shen was about to announce the identity of the two sisters. But after Mu Tongxue came to the Shen family, she did not get close to anyone. She stayed with third aunt all the time, which made the others feel upset. Mu Tongxue is so uncultured. What about the other one? She hasn't come to the Shen family yet. I heard that she will come tomorrow morning. We'll know when she comes, said the youngest sister of the Shen family. But I don't think she's any better. They are both raised by the Mu family. What's the difference? Let's wait and see. Maybe she's worse than Mu Tongxue. Old Shen did not argue with his family's discussion. Instead, he gave Sheng Xiao a call on Saturday night. Sheng Xiao, how's my Mu Qiqi? How's your training going? Oh, Uncle Shen, are you so sure that I know how to train her? Since you have saved Mu Qiqi, you will make arrangements for her. Others might not know, but I know how you do things. Grandpa Shen smiled. I'm more assured that Mu Qiqi is in your hands than anyone else's. Uncle Shen, don't trust me too much. I'll send someone to pick Mu Qiqi up tomorrow morning. You must let Jing Yun sing well for tomorrow's show. Because it was not suitable for anyone to expose Mu Tongxue's identity. But Jing Yun was fine. When the ceremony started, Jing Yun just needed to say something. Then, Mu Tongxue would be doomed eternally. Sheng Xiao hung up the call with Grandpa Shen. But he was even harsher to Mu Qiqi in his arms. His little one was leaving for the war tomorrow, but he could not be by her side. Mu Qiqi was sweating all over. She could only cling on to Sheng Xiao's neck weakly. Her eyes were blurred. The next morning, Sheng Xiao sent Mu Qiqi back to the small mansion. When Su Zipei saw that Sheng Xiao did not leave even after a while, she said, Don't worry, young Master Sheng. Jing Yun and I will take good care of Mu Qiqi today. Mu Qiqi squeezed Sheng Xiao's hand. Don't worry. I know what to do today. Sheng Xiao turned to leave. But he still wanted to go to the Shen's house and join in the fun. Although he had told Mu Qiqi a lot and Grandpa Shen was there to protect her, the others did not treasure the little one. Meanwhile, Mu Qiqi had changed into her little black dress and tidied herself up. Her socialite temperament was on full display. Don't embarrass young Master Sheng when you go today. Su Zipei put a crystal bracelet on Mu Qiqi's wrist. This is a gift from your Uncle Lu. Don't worry, Aunt Zipei. I'm going to finish Mu Tongxue today. Your grandfather's car is waiting outside. Young Master Sheng's gift for your uncle is also in the car. Let's go. Su Zipei patted Mu Qiqi's shoulder. In my eyes, you are nobler than the Shen family. Chapter 140. There was already an annoying person in the Shen family. Now that another person was coming, the Shen family was not in a good mood. However, Grandpa Shen looked very energetic. He was wearing a suit that he had not worn for a long time. It could be seen how much he valued the two sisters. Mu Tongxue was dressed up too. She stood together with third daughter-in-law. They kissed each other's ears from time to time. It was obvious that their relationship was getting better, even though it was just a short time. Does your sister look like you? Mu Tongxue smiled when she thought about Mu Qiqi's appearance. She said, almost. But she has a mole on her nose. But you two sisters, your personalities should be quite different. Sister wants to be strong. So, she likes to bully others. Third aunt smiled and nodded. She doesn't even care about the Shin family. So she is arrogant, right? Because she has a boyfriend behind her back. Third aunt covered her mouth in surprise. She pointed at Grandpa Shun with her chin. Does father know about it? Grandpa doesn't know. TSK. She is so young. Mu Tongshue's main task these few days was to smear Mu Qiqi's image in front of third aunt. She had to add fuel to the fire. If third aunt knew about it, third uncle would know about it too. And if third uncle knew about it, the whole Shin family would know about it. So, everyone would have a bad impression of Mu Qiqi. Soon, the guard at the entrance of the Shin family announced that Jing Yun had brought Mu Qiqi into the Shin family's mansion. They were already at the entrance. Let's go and have a look. Grandpa Shin said to the Shin family. She is just a junior. Does she need an elder to welcome her personally? Second aunt said unhappily. Father, you should have a limit when you love her. It is Mu Qiqi's first time coming to the Shin family. As an elder, shouldn't you be more tolerant and encourage your juniors? The Shin family did not say anything. They followed Grandpa Shin to the entrance of the mansion, including Mu Tongxue and third aunt. A moment later, a pretty girl wearing a small black dress got out of the car. She had an extraordinary temperament. Everyone knew who she was. There was no need to remind them, because she looked similar to Mu Tongxue. Still, no one expected that their faces were so similar, but their auras were so different. Mu Tongxue was born into a rich family, but her temperament was rather tacky. Still, Mu Qiqi gave off a very different feeling. It was as if she was born to be so noble. Her expression was calm and unruffled, and she did not seem to lose to those young ladies in the outside world at all. Everyone looked at Mu Qiqi, and then at Mu Tongxue. The difference was too big. On the other hand, Grandpa Shen was very satisfied. Old Shen, I've sent him here. Since it was Jing Yun who escorted Mu Qiqi, he walked to the old man first and bowed slightly. Thank you for your hard work, Jing Yun. Please thank your young master for me, Grandpa Shen said happily. Then he said to Mu Qiqi, Child, come here. Come to Grandpa. Mu Qiqi smiled and walked to the Shin family. She bowed deeply to them and said, Sorry to disturb you. Child, you don't have to be so polite when you're returning to your own home. Grandpa Shen, although I have the blood of the Shin family flowing in my veins, I don't live with the other uncles of the Shin family. I have to apologize for disturbing the peace of the Shin family. Mu Qiqi said to Grandpa Shen with sincerity. The Shin family looked at each other. Mu Qiqi had a sense of propriety and knew the big picture. She was much better than Mu Tongxue. So there was no need to believe what Mu Tongxue had said about Mu Qiqi. So the Shin family's face became a little better. All right. You should wait until we go inside. Grandpa Shen pulled Mu Qiqi to his side. You have started school, haven't you? Yes. I will join the military training next week. Mu Qiqi answered Grandpa Shen as she walked. So, I came here today to see you, apart from causing trouble for the other uncles. This child. Grandpa Shen was very satisfied with Sheng Zhao's teaching. He thought that Mu Qiqi was a little dull the last time they met. But, she could handle herself when it came to big occasions. The Shen family's displeasure slowly disappeared after listening to Mu Qiqi's words. They were comforted to see that Mu Qiqi was so sensible. The family entered the living room and sat down. Then Grandpa Shen introduced Mu Qiqi. This is second uncle. Mu Qiqi was the first to speak. You know him? Jing Yun told me that the thin but energetic man is second uncle. He is always tired because he does everything by himself. The tall and strong man is third uncle. The one who looks like Grandpa the most is youngest aunt. Second aunt is straightforward and third aunt is meticulous. So it should be these two. Mu Qiqi introduced herself to the elders. Nice to meet you, uncle, aunt and youngest aunt. I am Mu Qiqi. This child. I really can't hate her. Second aunt's words revealed her true thoughts, although she really wanted to hate Mu Qiqi's existence. Be firm. Second uncle leaned on second aunt's arm. Do you want to betray eldest sister-in-law? Mu Qiqi smiled when she heard that. She told the elders what she was thinking. I know that our appearance has brought a lot of trouble to the Shin family, because I know that Aunt Rong has worked hard all her life. She is like a family to all the uncles. So, I came here today to make my stand clear. If Grandpa did not summon me, I will not appear in front of you. Please don't worry. The Shin family breathed a sigh of relief at Mu Chichi's words. At the very least, one of the two sisters was a sensible one. Mu Chichi, you are really different from what I heard. Second aunt was a straightforward person. She could not hold it in. I know. I am used to it. Mu Chichi turned her head and looked at Mu Tongxue. In that case, we are not unreasonable people. Since you have made your stand clear, we will make our stand clear too. The Shin family has always valued kindness. Moreover, it is a relationship that has lasted for more than 20 years. So, it is impossible for us to cut ties with eldest sister-in-law. But we have to admit that you are the flesh and blood of the Shin family. Since you are willing to live outside, we are willing to treat you as a family. Second aunt, you're exaggerating. I'm already an adult, and I'm already in college. I'll gradually have enough ability to support myself. Mu Chichi looked at second aunt and replied. But in fact, her words were meant for Mu Tongxue. Of course, you can support yourself. After all, you have a rich boyfriend. Third aunt suddenly burst into laughter. At this moment, all the Shin family's eyes were on her. Chapter 141. Then, everyone looked at Mu Chichi. Third aunt, you misunderstood me. I don't have a rich boyfriend. I only have a sponsor. Who are you trying to fool? Third daughter-in-law. Didn't you see the person who brought Mu Chichi here just now? Grandpa Sheng suddenly interrupted. Of course I recognize him. He is Sheng Zhao's assistant, Jing Yun. Third aunt said. She already knew the gravity of the situation. Since you know that he is Jing Yun, you should know who is the sponsor for Mu Chichi, Grandpa Sheng said coldly. Third aunt suddenly stopped talking. She had never thought that Mu Chichi could have such a fortuitous encounter. Who did Jing Yun represent? Didn't he represent Sheng Xiao? Didn't you say that the sponsor is a French tycoon? Mu Tongxue changed the topic to the possibility that Mu Chichi was lying. I never said that my sponsor is French. I'm afraid the Mu family is the one who investigated it. Mu Chichi refuted Mu Tongxue with little effort. Actually, the person who sponsored me was assistant Jing Yun of the Sheng family. The Sheng family is our enemy. But when I was homeless, it was the Sheng family who took me in and took care of me. Mu Chichi smiled. Or do you want me to tell the truth to all the elders here? But I don't think it is necessary to waste everyone's time, right? The gap between them was huge. Especially when they were talking, Mu Chichi's calmness and Mu Tongxue's pressuring attitude were worlds apart. They had completely different attitudes and lives. Why are these two sisters so weird? Why do they look like they hate each other? After hearing what third aunt said, Mu Tongxue lowered her head and cried. She did not care whether the others cooperated or not. It was as if the whole family was bullying her. Why are you crying all of a sudden? Third aunt quickly wiped Mu Tongxue's tears. How much have you been wronged? Third aunt, I am fine. I am used to it. If both of them were used to it, then who was telling the truth? Mu Chichi ignored him and pointed at the gifts Jing Yun had brought in. I've brought some gifts for our first meeting. I hope you'll like them. You're just a child. Why do you need to prepare these things? The old man felt that he had a lot of face. Mu Chichi and Mu Tongxue were on completely different levels when it came to handling things. It's my first time here, so I can't go empty-handed. I just hope that uncle will like it. What do you think of this child? The old man was satisfied. He turned to look at his children. I didn't embarrass you, did I? This child knows the big picture and knows his limits. Did he make you feel bad? They looked at each other but didn't say anything. But at that moment, Rong Junhan rushed into the Shin family. After all, she was the eldest sister-in-law of the Shin family. So, it was not inappropriate for her to do that. When Rong Junhan arrived, third aunt and Mu Tongxue looked at each other. They knew what was going on. They knew that Mu Chichi would be in big trouble soon. If he could make the Shin family happy, then what about the one who was the most difficult to please? Mu Tongxue had been humiliated before. But before Rong Junhan sat down, Mu Chichi bowed deeply to Rong Junhan. What are you doing? Rong Junhan did not expect Mu Chichi to do that. To make you feel better, said Mu Chichi. She straightened her back. Oh, don't you think that I'm just an outsider and you're the real Shin? Is there really no need for you to bow down to me? Rong Junhan glanced at Mu Tongxue from the corner of her eyes. Then she asked Mu Chichi. Of course she was mocking Mu Tongxue. To the Shin family, I'm just an outsider. How can blood relations compare to decades of companionship? Mu Chichi answered smoothly. Don't you think that you're innocent? But I think it's harder for Aunt Rong. After hearing Mu Chichi's answer, Rong Junhan looked at her from head to toe and smiled. You've both grown up in the Mu family. Why is there such a big difference? Mu Tongshua's expression changed slightly, because Mu Chichi had changed so much in such a short time. She seemed to not know Mu Chichi anymore. She used to be such a weak girl. But now, she had become so considerate. Wasn't it a slap to her face? Even Rong Junhan did not give her a hard time. Who was the one who taught her? Mu Chichi stood in front of Rong Junhan, as if she was being punished. But Mu Chichi did not complain at all, because she knew that once Rong Junhan had vented her anger, she would feel better. Then she would be reasonable. Sure enough, after 3 minutes, Rong Junhan nodded and said to Mu Chichi, You're a brave one. You're better than some people. Mu Tongshua's eyes were filled with tears, but she could not cry. Perhaps she was too good at acting just now, because she hated Mu Chichi. It was as if Mu Chichi knew what the Shin family wanted. She would give them whatever they wanted. Wasn't it because she had done her homework beforehand? Sister, who did you learn from? Let me learn from you. Otherwise, I will always feel guilty if I make the elders unhappy. But Mu Chichi ignored Mu Tongshua's question. She said to Grandpa Shin directly, Grandpa, please allow me to give the gifts to all the uncles. Go ahead, said Grandpa Shin. Mu Tongxue was ignored by Mu Chichi just like that. So she was even more indignant. She stood in front of Mu Chichi and said, Sister, don't you think it's too much to treat me like this? I'm talking to you. Today is a good day. I don't want to quarrel with you. So you should be more conscious. Don't cause trouble, said Mu Chichi directly. I'm also a member of the Shin family. What gives you the right to ignore me and look down on me? Why are the sisters quarreling all of a sudden? Third aunt knew that it was not the right occasion. So, she quickly pulled Mu Tongxue to her side. There are guests at night. You don't have to quarrel with her now. When the time comes, you can show your consideration and make your grandfather proud. That's more important than anything else. Do you understand? Mu Tongxue clenched her fists tightly. She held back her tears and glared at Mu Chichi fiercely. She did not say anything. Don't worry. It's not night yet. I have an idea. Third aunt calmed Mu Tongxue down. You're not her opponent now. Don't make everyone hate you. It's not worth it. Chapter 142. Mu Chichi did not care about Mu Tongxue at all. Everyone in the Shin family was looking at Mu Chichi. So, no one noticed that Mu Tongxue was taken away by third aunt. I heard that you are studying forensic science. How did a girl like you come into contact with corpses? Second aunt asked Mu Chichi. You will smell rotten all the time. It will be hard for you to find a boyfriend. When Grandma passed away, Mu Tongxue and I were there. But we did not have any evidence. So, I was slandered for killing Grandma. I was even chased out of the family. Then, someone told me that I could study forensic science. From then on, I found my goal. There is nothing wrong with studying forensic science. At least, I can speak for the dead. You have an idea. Second aunt had a better understanding of the child now. Most importantly, it was because Rong Junhan did not reject Mu Chichi. But, I did not expect that you two have such a deep grudge against each other. Mu Chichi smiled faintly. Actually, her grudge against Mu Tongxue was not just a little bit. Grandma's death. The exchange of their grades and mommy's death were enough for her to cut Mu Tongxue into pieces. And today, she was here to cut her into pieces. Mu Tongxue and third sister-in-law are quite close now, but they disappeared in such a short time. Don't worry about it. Let's talk. Grandpa Shen called Mu Qiqi to his side. Since you have decided to become a forensic doctor, you must do well in front of Grandpa. Of course, I will be responsible for my own life. Do you have a boyfriend? Second aunt could not help but ask Mu Qiqi more questions. I think it is too early for children nowadays to fall in love. In the living room, the elders and Mu Qiqi were having a heated conversation. Third aunt brought Mu Tongxue to her room and persuaded her. Silly girl, why are you so impatient? It is obvious that your sister has been taught by a master. Can't you see it? But third aunt, what should I do now? It seems that the whole family does not like me. That's because they are prejudiced against you. Moreover, you are just meeting your family now. You should leave a good impression when the guests come at night. Maybe you'll have a new way out in the future. But I really don't want to see Mu Qiqi strutting around. Third aunt, I am also the flesh and blood of the Shen family. I don't want to be inferior to her. What Mu Tongxue cared about the most right now was how others would look at her. Now that everyone was praising Mu Qiqi, what did that make her? Let me think about it, third aunt said thoughtfully. Third aunt was still willing to support Mu Tongxue, even though she knew that the Sheng family was behind Mu Qiqi. The reason was simple. Mu Qiqi was too smart to be manipulated by others. Mu Tongxue, on the other hand, was different. Her weakness was obvious, and so was what she wanted. Since that's the case, let's make a fool out of her tonight. After that, third aunt hooked her finger at Mu Tongxue and whispered the plan into her ear. But you might have to suffer a little. After listening to third aunt's plan, Mu Tongxue shook her head. As long as Mu Qiqi is hated, I can do anything. Then you must stay calm and wait for the guests to arrive. They went back to the living room while discussing. This time, second aunt caught them and said with a smile, third sister-in-law is really good at coaxing people. Mu Tongxue seems to be in a better mood now. Mu Tongxue is a straightforward person. It's inevitable that she will offend people. She is not like others who know how to coax people and make everyone happy, third aunt said with a smile. But, second sister-in-law, you still have to be careful of those people who are obviously trained. They are only 18 years old. Their words are watertight. Be careful not to trap them. You will still be counting the money for them. Mu Qiqi knew that third aunt's words were directed at her. Moreover, second aunt was not good with words. After being humiliated, she could only stare at third aunt and sulk. Mu Qiqi watched everything quietly. She finally understood what Sheng Xiao meant when he said that the sisters-in-law did not get along well with each other. This person has not returned to the family, and you are already in a hurry to pick sides? Grandpa Shen could not help but snort. Is this worth quarreling with? Let's go and see the gifts Mu Qiqi brought for you. They are all carefully prepared by her. But actually, the person who prepared the gifts was Jing Yun. It had nothing to do with her. Then second uncle said in surprise, it's my favorite Da Hong Pao. Second aunt quickly opened her gift when she heard that. This massager can only be found overseas. It has been out of stock for a long time. This gift is indeed meticulously prepared. She even knows what everyone likes. This niece of mine is really thoughtful. Third aunt took the opportunity to mock them. Since you like it so much, I will give you my share. Tongxue, you are so honest. How can it be compared to this? Mu Qiqi did not say anything. She looked at Grandpa Shen. The show was getting more and more interesting. Alright, let's go. Qiqi will accompany Grandpa around. The others can do whatever they want. Then, Grandpa Shen stood up and brought Mu Qiqi to his fish pond. He asked Mu Qiqi, you know very well that Mu Tongxue is not a member of the Shen family, right? I know very well, said Mu Qiqi. Do you have to wait until the last moment to reveal the truth? Grandpa, this person killed Grandma and Mommy. I can forgive anyone but her. She must pay the heaviest price. Then, do you know who caused your father to become a vegetable? Grandpa Shen asked her again. But before she could answer, he said, that scum from the Mu family. Have you figured it out? Grandpa Shen put his hands behind his back and nodded. There will be many guests tonight. But I will let you perform tonight. Grandpa, do you really think that Mu Tongxue will not play any tricks? As for what tricks she would play, it would depend on the afternoon. In order not to have too much contact with the Shen family, Mu Qiqi and Grandpa Shen just fished by the fish pond. It was a kind of family reunion. In the afternoon, the guests arrived at the Shen family's house one after another. Soon, the sky started to darken. Soon, the reunion banquet was about to begin. The guests were already full, but no one expected Sheng Xiao to rush over from Huangyao. He was still worried about his little one. Young Master Sheng is here. Sheng Xiao. The guest saw Sheng Xiao, but he went straight to the garden to find Grandpa Shen and Mu Qiqi. Chapter 143. Why are you here? Grandpa Shen asked curiously. Aren't you busy in Huangyao today? I have to come and join in the fun. Otherwise, I won't get any benefits after taking care of your granddaughter for so long. Sheng Xiao raised his eyebrows. Grandpa Shen looked at the time and nodded. Since all the guests are here, it's time to go. Grandpa Shen did not let Mu Qiqi and Mu Tongxue show up earlier. They were the most important people. Of course, they should only show up at the most crucial moment. Let's go. Grandpa Shen was walking in front, and Sheng Xiao was walking behind him. Mu Qiqi was standing next to him. Their arms brushed against each other from time to time. Sheng Xiao took the chance to pinch her palm. They looked at each other. Mu Qiqi felt at ease and at ease. Grandpa Shen, Xiao Xiao is here. Xiao Xiao is here. But when they were about to go to the front hall, Mu Tongxue suddenly walked out. She said to Grandpa Shen, Grandpa, I have something to say to my sister. Grandpa Shen turned around and looked at Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi nodded and said, Grandpa, you can go first. We will come later. They were worried, but Grandpa Shen was more willing to trust Mu Qiqi. Moreover, Mu Qiqi's calm eyes told him that everything was going according to plan, so he did not bother to worry. Tonight was Mu Qiqi's night. Soon, they disappeared from the corridor. Then, Mu Qiqi asked Mu Tongxue, What do you want to say to me? Mu Tongxue grabbed Mu Qiqi's arm and begged her. Sister, it's such an important moment tonight. Can you not talk about our past in front of everyone? What are you afraid of? Mu Qiqi could not help but ask. Sister, it's not good for anyone to talk about it. Especially, it will embarrass Grandpa. You don't want him to be laughed at, do you? As long as you behave yourself, I won't do anything stupid. Then, Mu Qiqi shook off Mu Tongxue's arm and walked past her. But just when Mu Qiqi left, Mu Tongxue sneered. Mu Qiqi, let's see who will win tonight. Mu Qiqi found her way to the front hall. At that moment, Sheng Xiao was chatting with his acquaintances. When Grandpa Shen saw her, he quickly said to her, Qiqi, come here. I'll introduce you to Uncle and Aunt. This is Qiqi. What a beautiful girl. I heard that he got into Shengting University. Not bad. I should have brought my son along. The guests praised Mu Qiqi for Grandpa Shen's sake. Grandpa Shen smiled and sighed. I didn't expect eldest brother to have children. So I don't care about the shame of the family. I want these two children to return to the family. Old chief, let the grudges of the previous generation go with the wind. The child is innocent. Speaking of which, where's your sister? Grandpa Shen looked around, but did not see Mu Tongxue. Then he called for third aunt. Go and get Tongxue. Third aunt put down the wine glass in her hand and nodded. Don't worry, father. I'll go now. Mu Qiqi looked at third aunt as she left. She felt that a good show was about to begin, so she subconsciously looked at Sheng Xiao. But he was not in the hall at that moment. After a while, third aunt shouted as she returned to the front hall. She held Mu Tongxue, who was bleeding at the corner of her mouth. Father, father, what happened? Grandpa Shen quickly went over and saw Mu Tongxue in a sorry state. The left side of her face was swollen, and there were obvious finger marks. She was beaten up. Mu Tongxue lowered her head and cried when she was questioned. I don't dare to say. Say it, Grandpa Shen ordered. The guest stopped and looked at Mu Tongxue. At that moment, Mu Tongxue raised her head and looked at Mu Qiqi. It's my sister. The guests were surprised when they heard the word sister. It's my sister who hit me. She didn't want me to appear in front of everyone. She didn't want me to steal her limelight. All of a sudden, all the guests were looking at Mu Qiqi, pointing and whispering. How can you be so vicious at such a young age? Look at how badly you hit her. You said that I hit her? Do you have any evidence? Mu Qiqi asked Mu Tongxue calmly. I don't have any evidence because you are my sister. Even if I have evidence, I won't go against you. Sister, we are all members of the Shen family. Why do you have to fight with me? I didn't hinder you at all. Look, everyone likes you very much. Why do you want to kill me? Mu Tongxue questioned Mu Qiqi. She pushed Mu Qiqi to the edge of the storm. However, Mu Qiqi was not anxious. She said calmly, I didn't hit you. But there were only the two of us just now. You didn't hit me. Did I hit myself? That's ridiculous. Father, when I went to look for Mu Tongxue, I found her unconscious on the ground. I don't know if she has any other injuries on her body. Mu Qiqi is too cruel. Third aunt spoke up for her. It's my first time seeing such a cruel sister. You can't cover for her. Is there any law in this world? How could she be so cruel to her own sister? Sister, I really don't want to fight with you. Whether it's the Shen family or Grandpa's love, I have never thought of competing with you. I have already given in. Why are you still so cruel? She's so pitiful. How can there be such a cruel sister? The guests around them had a bad impression of Mu Qiqi. Of course, they felt pity for Mu Tongxue. The Shen family was at a loss. They did not know whether Mu Qiqi was such a cruel person. Father, why don't we let Mu Qiqi go back to her room? There are so many guests. It's not good. I will call the doctor to check on Mu Tongxue. Third aunt suggested. Obviously, she wanted Mu Qiqi to disappear from the banquet. Grandpa Shen nodded. When he was about to say something, Mu Qiqi retorted. Wait. I have something to say. Mu Qiqi, what else do you have to say? She has been beaten up by you. Third aunt snorted. You have to care about the Shen family's reputation. You said that I hit her. So I hit her? Mu Qiqi retorted. Actually, I can leave. But I will leave after Mu Tongxue answers a few questions. What are you trying to say? So many guests saw it. Chapter 144. Seeing that the guests were waiting for an answer, Mu Qiqi pointed at Mu Tongxue and said, Because she is not a Shen at all. Everyone was stunned after hearing Mu Qiqi's words. But third aunt was the first to laugh. Mu Qiqi, even if you want to come up with an excuse, you should come up with a better one. You look so similar to Mu Tongxue. Who would believe that you are not twins? That's right. If you only look at your faces, there is almost no difference. Since you are a Shen, why is Mu Tongxue not? Second aunt asked. I did not say that we are not twins. Sister, there are so many guests here. You don't have to come up with such a joke just to deny it. Do you? Mu Tongxue looked at Mu Qiqi coldly. She thought that Mu Qiqi was going to say something shocking. She did not expect that it was just this. It was too funny. Qiqi, explain it clearly. Grandpa Shen was displeased. But he was displeased with third daughter-in-law. Today was supposed to be a great day, and I didn't want to tell anyone about it. But I didn't expect that Mu Tongxue would be so cruel to herself just to slander me. If that's the case, why would I care about you getting hurt? Mu Qiqi said calmly. Even though everyone thought that she was joking, she was very confident. She did not treat it as a joke at all. So you are saying that you are a Shen and I am not? That's right. Mu Qiqi looked at Mu Tongxue calmly. Sister, don't you think that you are out of your mind? Do you think I have to lie in front of so many people when the DNA test would have revealed the result? Mu Qiqi asked in return. You might think it's funny, but I don't think it's funny. Don't you think that your temper and character are exactly the same as the Mu family? Mu Tongxue was stunned, because Mu Qiqi mentioned DNA. All right. Even if what you said is true, when did you test my DNA? Why didn't I know about it? It should not take much effort to take a sample of your DNA, right? Mu Qiqi smiled. Then, she saw Jing Yun take out the DNA report from the car and bring it to her. Mu Qiqi held the DNA report in her hand and raised it high. It's easy to know if you are from the Shen family. The DNA report is in my hands. Mu Tongxue started to feel nervous, but she still managed to stay calm. She faced the guests and said loudly, "This is ridiculous. We are twins, but you are telling me that you are from the Shen family, and I am from the Mu family. Do you mean that we have two fathers?" Mu Qiqi, you are really unscrupulous in order to bully me. Mu Qiqi did not want to listen to Mu Tongxue anymore, and so promptly opened the folder and took out the DNA data, holding it up high in front of all the guests. Then she passed the certificate. "If you think that I've tampered with the DNA, we can test it again." The guest who received the DNA report read it and passed it to the next person. Then it was passed to the old man. Mu Tongxue saw the change in everyone's expression. She quickly said, "Grandpa, do you really believe her nonsense? You will know whether it's nonsense after you read it." Then, Grandpa Shen asked Third Aunt to pass the DNA report to Mu Tongxue. At the same time, Third Aunt took the DNA report and read it. Then her expression changed. This is actually real?" Mu Tongxue quickly snatched the report and read it. "I just got this report. I did not intend to show it in such a situation. But you are too much. I know that you are not from the Shen family. Why should I do anything to you? Isn't it unnecessary?" Mu Tongxue could not accept it after she read it. "I am from the Shen family. I am. You are not. Even if you do the test 1,000 times or 10,000 times, you will not be from the Shen family." Mu Qiqi told Mu Tongxue with certainty. "You are from the Mu family, and you just abandoned your father and grandfather not long ago. It's not like that. You are lying. There must be something wrong with the report." "Qiqi, explain it to me." Grandpa Shen ordered Mu Qiqi. "It's simple. We are fraternal twins. Because we look like our mother, our father's genes are not obvious. So, no one found out that we have different fathers. So, I am from the Shen family, but she is not." Mu Qiqi pointed at Mu Tongxue again. But Mu Tongxue refused to accept it. "It's impossible. You must have planned this. I told you. You can do the test now. Since you are not from the Shen family, why should I do anything to you? Because I am afraid that you will steal the limelight. Ha! Are you worthy? Who do you think you are? Since you are the one who did the DNA test, why can't you fake it?" Mu Tongxue did not give up. She became hysterical. "Because I am the one who did the DNA test." Jing Yun stood up and walked to Mu Qiqi's side. Sheng Xiao, who was not far away, looked at the two of them and smiled. "Do I need to fake it when I am the one who did the DNA test? Moreover, this kind of thing can be verified with just a test. Is there a need to fake it?" If Mu Qiqi's words were not convincing enough, then Jing Yun's words had to be taken seriously. "Do you think that I, the special assistant of Huang Yao, have a need to slander you?" Mu Tongxue's face turned pale. Her hands started shaking. "It was like this a year ago. The Mu family chased Miss Mu out of the Mu family. It is still the same a year later. Miss Mu is standing in the hall of the Shen family and slandering the daughter of the Shen family? Who gave you the courage?" You what?" Mu Qiqi smiled. "Do you really think that you are a member of the Shen family? I have never thought of marrying into the Shen family and messing up their lives. But you do not belong to the Shen family. And you never will." Mu Tongxue fell to the ground helplessly. She could not accept it no matter what. "It's impossible. I am a member of the Shen family too." Seeing this, Third Aunt could not help Mu Tongxue at all. After all, Mu Tongxue was not the daughter of the Shen family. She had tried so hard to please Mu Tongxue, but it was all in vain. What a little bitch. "Jing Yun, can you explain it clearly?" Grandpa Shen was afraid that the others would misunderstand Mu Qiqi. He quickly asked Jing Yun. Jing Yun smiled and nodded. "Of course. A year ago, Miss Qiqi was chased out of the Mu family because she was framed for feeding the wrong amount of medicine to her grandmother. I was the one who took her in and became her sponsor. You're tuning in to the Lee May's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.